Penguins Hockey on Root Sports is brought to you by Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. You're better with Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. Rated #1 for plan satisfaction. By Western PA Toyota Dealers. Now's the time to go places with Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com for special offers. And by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
Well, for hockey atmosphere, it's tough to beat the MTS Center in Winnipeg, Manitoba, where we listen now to the national anthems.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing, remove your hats, and welcome your Winnipeg Jets own Stacey Nattrass for the singing of tonight's national anthems.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true North strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for
Nice to see a patriotic veteran singing along as we get ready for what they call Remembrance Day in Canada on November 11th. Of course, Veterans Day in the U.S. Time for Rivers Casino tips to win.
Well, be patient in the hockey game. You have to against the Jets. Both captains, Ladd and Crosby, leading their team in goal scoring and points. And you talk about goaltending. Marc-Andre Fleury, the new contract, so it's in 3 of 4. Pravlik is 4-1 in his last 5, and there's Marc-Andre Fleury, Steg, and he has been something special and rewarded with that 4-year contract extension.
And he won't have to think about that now. He can relax and just play the game. And this guy here has been absolutely horrible against the Penguins in his career. 2-12, a 4.33 goals against average, and a save percentage of .867. But as Bobby said, playing much better here at the start of this season after losing 10 pounds and realizing he had to get it together. The Jets need him to play like one of the better #1 goaltenders in the league. And now Here is Scheifele going back into his own zone, throwing it behind his own net where Malkin has it. Evgeny Malkin has been a terrorizer against the Jets in his career, as has Sidney Crosby. The Jets Thrashers, if you will, because of course this franchise first was the Atlanta Thrashers, where Pascal Dupuis actually played and was acquired from by the Penguins. Here's Christian Ehrhoff with it, now wristing it to the net. That hits something in front. And Blake Como pushes it in behind the goal for Evgeny Malkin. Penguins come out here, working the puck in the offensive zone to start the hockey game. But now it's Evander Kane. He has great speed. He stepped in around Ehrhoff. Bortuzzo's back, and the shot is stopped by Fleury. Ooh, good shot there by Kane. He almost sneaked it in over the shoulder. Another shot from a sharp angle. That time by Scheifele was stopped by Fleury. And the Penguins force the puck up into the Jet zone, and Toby Enstrom goes back.
Kane, he's got 11 points in 15 games against the Penguins. The problem is he's a -10, but he scored 2 beautiful goals in Pittsburgh last year. We got an ice on Winnipeg, and he had a great shot that Fleury had to fight off with his left shoulder. And Mike Johnson, he's wearing his poppy for Remembrance Day. They'll celebrate that November 11th. Here's a look at Kane coming down that offside. A polarizing figure for sure. And Marc-Andre Fleury standing tall to make the save on the left shoulder.
From the draw, Letang works down the wall, and Tobias Enstrom tried to clear it. Penguins held it in, and Hornquist covering for Letang at the point with a good slap shot that's scooped up by goaltender Pavlik. Mike Johnston, aware of the structure and the improved play of the Jets, knows that this is a tough test as Paul Maurice has brought that structure. They got off to a bad start, 1-4 and 2-5 to start the season, but then 5-0-1 in their last 6 games under Paul Maurice, who had them on a roll when he first took over their team last season, but then they kind of faded away and had only 84 points on the season.
Yeah, maybe even more than faded away. They fell off a cliff after that great start when he came in. He was easy on them to start, Steg, and then he got a little bit tough on them, and he wanted these guys to come back in shape and ready to go this year.
Matthew Perreault throws it to the right wing for Dustin Byfuglien. He's a -15 against the Penguins, and Enstrom is a -16. They're no longer defense partners. Byfuglien playing back up front as a forward. Here's Brandon Sutter coming to center, and Sutter dumps it into the Jet zone. Brent Klitzen goes back for it. On top of him is Brandon Sutter. He turns and coolly moves it along now for Paul Postma. Out now to Matthew Perreault, the former Washington Capital, had it knocked off his stick. Rob Scuderi goes back for it, and around now for Simon Desprez. Desprez slides it ahead for Patrick Hornquist. He's bumped in the neutral zone by Brian Little, the leading scorer of the Jets.
Playing in his 500th game, Brian Little in this one tonight.
Here's Enstrom with that really long stick. And he uses one that's as long as it can be, and yet he's a very short player. Here's Enstrom shooting it off a leg. And it goes over now where Zach Bogosian can get to it, and he pokes it back in around to the near side where Enstrom hustles over, trying to get it deep. Gets some help there from Little. Back to the corner for Desprez. Good forechecking effort here by the Jets. The Penguins are having a tough time finding an evacuation route here out of their own zone. And now Stewart comes off the bench and comes in and shoots it off the stick of Fleury. Hornquist has been out here a while. Would like to get out of the zone here. The Penguins now get some time and space. As Scuderi headmans the puck off the stick of Hornquist. He goes in on the forecheck against Stewart. Following on, though, is Jacob Trouba. He's a good one. American-born player. He can fly. Look at him here. Trouba carrying the puck, shooting it, and a save made by Fleury, and he'll hold on.
The third bad angle shot against Fleury. They're working on it, and Mike Bale's working on it with Fleury. And there's a look at the contract extension, and that's what the Flower has done in his career. And then you go down to the last 4 starts. You see the 4 in the O and the 3 shutouts, Staggy, and 295 career wins. He's going to get to 300 here. I don't know if he's going to get there before his November 28th birthday or not.
He only needs 5, and I think he can do it. That would be great. Only a few guys have ever had that many wins that early in their life. Marc-Andre Fleury is absolutely one of the greats.
Part of that, he's been stellar in the shootouts in his career for the Pittsburgh Penguins. And that's enabled him to get there a little bit quicker.
Bortuzzo leaves it there for Christian Ehrhoff. Ehrhoff moves it up the left wing to Pascal Dupuis. Now to the right side, and Bortuzzo into the Jet zone. Drops it off for Malkin coming in. To Bortuzzo, and a shot hit a man on his knees. One knee, that was Trouba who blocked that shot.
What a play that was. Bortuzzo wide open in the slot with a give and go with Malkin. after he interfered with a player in his own zone.
Here's Ehrhoff shooting, kicked out of there by Pavlik, right out to Letang. Now a quick shot by Como, misses the net. And Scheifele gets it. The Penguins looking good in the offensive zone. And a couple of shifts here. Now Kane again pushing the puck in. Got to be careful with Kane. He does have that speed, and you saw Ehrhoff kind of stepped up, pinched a bit in the neutral zone, and he went right by him earlier. Sill to Adams. The shot again is blocked in front. Two great scoring opportunities. That one blocked by Thorburn for the Penguins in the slot. And the defenseman saving the day. It's one of the reasons why the Jets have been better. They've been blocking shots and paying the price in the defensive zone. It's not just the goaltender.
Yeah, Thorburn took that up high too, Staggy, almost in the throat area it looked like, and he gets himself back to the bench. He's hunched over, but two big blocks for the Jets.
When the Jets came here to Winnipeg a few years ago, you couldn't hear yourself think in this building.
No.
And now it is, you could hear a pin drop right now here in this rink. It's totally different. The bloom has come off the rose.
Well, the Flowers in town tonight, so you'd think they'd pick it up a little.
Here's Stewart back for the puck now. Gave it away to Downey, who quickly centered for Sutter. And now it's Dustin Byfuglien. Comes to center, and puck is knocked down by the glove of Adam Lowry, the son of former NHLer Dave Lowry. Number 17, he's a big boy. Matthew Perreault on the left wing. Adam Lowry, the third line center of the Jets. He's only 21 years old. Now the fans start to pick it up, make a little noise here. 3 shots for the Jets, 2 for the Penguins, but they've had a couple blocked. Here's Crosby, and it's poked away from him by Stewart, right back to Simon Desprez. Snaps it ahead to Crosby. It's bumped by Lowry. But Kunitz has the puck. And this pass for Crosby doesn't connect, and Lowry swings it along for Byfuglien. Ahead now to Andrew Ladd, and Ladd shoots it. Good shot there and a better save. Now Little with a drive, and Fleury stops that. Loose around the net. Fleury's able to cover it. And Ladd with a little toe drag before he shot the puck.
And we got a lot of shots going on, gloves to faces. Byfuglien. I tell you, Lowry out there was playing like his old man, Staggy. Adam Lowry. 13 games, he's got a goal, but he stepped into Crosby not just once, but he hits him again in the neutral zone. Welcome to Winnipeg, says Mr. Lowry.
The save that Fleury made on Ladd, Bob, was special because Ladd did a little toe drag, pulled it in, and Fleury just got his toe on that shot. What a beauty. Ladd comes in with 5 goals already this year for the Jets.
One of 3 5-goal scorers here for these Winnipeg Jets. And he's got 2 cups, one in Carolina, one in Chicago.
Traded, of course, drafted by Jimmy Rutherford and then traded by Jimmy Rutherford.
Paul Maurice hired by Jimmy Rutherford in Carolina. And now here in Winnipeg. Oh, Ladd just got hammered by Bortuzzo, I believe. Good cross check.
Ladd trying to play the puck. 2 Penguins were there to get it, and then Malkin ends up with it and moves it ahead now to Bortuzzo. Look out, they step up on him. And Bogosian tried to get him, but he felt him coming. Now Robert Bortuzzo has control. Bortuzzo paired up with Ehrhoff again tonight. Here's Como with it now to Malkin. Gino shoots it, and it's off a leg again in front of Pavlik. And the Penguins have only 2 shots registered because the shots that have been on the way towards the Winnipeg net have hit something every time. Changing there at the bench as they
had 6 guys on the ice right in front of that bench.
Back to get it goes Paul Martin for the Penguins, and Martin pokes it up the near wall. Stewart pinches down, shoots it high off the glass. Trouba hustles over. Kunitz makes him pay the price, and Letang moves for the puck. Scheifele tried to drag it to the net. Now it's Kane with it. He centers, and it goes right to where it can be picked up by Hornquist. To Crosby, to Kunitz, to Sid. Great save by Pavlik. And the rebound pushed wide of the goal by Hornquist. Out now to Letang. His drive kicked away by Pavlik. Right back to Hornquist again. And he dumps it to the corner, and Kunitz gets in after it.
I'm a believer so far. Pavlik, he looks a little bit quicker this year.
Here's Hornquist shooting, goes over the shoulder of Pavlik and over the crossbar. Now back out to the point. Kunitz covering there for Paul Martin, who has the puck. Looks for Crosby, but it's broken up, and Blake Wheeler now will just spin it back up into the Penguin zone, and Chris Kunitz goes back to get it.
Wow, those are some big saves there by Pavlik. That play there, Kunitz to Crosby, the one-timer across the body. The left pad of Pavlik comes out. Crosby, 15 goals against this Winnipeg franchise.
The shooting percentage is the highest against any goalie against Pavlik. 29%. It just went down a bit after that great save he made with the left pad. Now here's Scuderi with it. He'll dump it in. Blitzham has it now for Winnipeg. Threw it in front. Off the stick of Lowry. Carried now to center by Matthew Perreault. Byfuglien, Lowry, and Perreault. And look out. Here's a shot by Postma. He missed the target. Good chance, and he wristed it high over the net.
Wow, he really tried to pick that spot over that left shoulder of Marc-Andre Fleury. That was a beautiful pass. In behind all the pressure that was going to the net.
Slater with good speed around Dupre, but he lost the puck, and Sutter's got it now for the Penguins. Over to Craig Adams. Back for Sutter. Leaves it there, looking to get it to Spalling, but it's broken up. Bogosian, lead pass to Slater. And his cross-ice pass hit Downey, who ends up with a puck. Downey forcing it into the corner. Toby Enstrom is there. Downey trying to get possession there, and Slater there as well. Sutter tried to center it. He's rubbed out nicely by Bogosian, and Chris Thorburn carries it to center ice. Hands it off now to Gagliardi. TJ Gagliardi just push it to the net, and it's frozen by Marc-Andre Fleury.
Well, 5 shots for the Jets, 4 for the Penguins, but a couple of good blocks in front of Pavlik, and he's helping himself out as well. Take a look at this play. Crosby driving in the middle. Big save, Pavlik.
No score so far in this one, and special teams, as it always does, can play a factor in this game. You know, the Penguins have killed 30 consecutive power play opportunities, which has spanned over 8 games. If that streak continues tonight, it will equal the franchise record of 9 consecutive games without allowing a power play goal, which has been done 3 times in franchise history. In fact, 32 straight kills will also tie a team record. Just a nice run by the PK unit, guys.
Yeah, Gary Agnew's done a great job, Steggy, and familiarity has come back quick. I know Brandon Sutter said to Dan Potash in the post-game interview last game, he said, yeah, we took a little bit of heat after the first few games, but boy, have they been solid.
You got to give credit to the coaches and also the coachability of the players and the leadership of the penalty killers like Adams and Sutter, Rob Scuderi, Pascal Dupuis, guys who've done it for their whole careers. Didn't take them long to get it figured out. Here's Brian Little with it now at center ice.
And credit the goalie as well.
Absolutely, always their best penalty killer. Here's Frolik shooting, and Fleury down to his knees, makes the save. Malkin upended there in the corner. That could have been a penalty. He gets himself up slowly, nothing called. Looked like he had his legs taken out from under him there, maybe a little high-low situation. Now the shot by Enstrom, and right in front was Ladd looking for a redirect. Bogosian with it now on the right side. For Little, a turning shot. He scores. Might have been deflected in by Ladd.
Well, he had one chance to redirect. The first one did Andrew Ladd. And that one went wide, and the second time he didn't miss it. Andrew Ladd, a big presence, number 16 in front of the net. Stick down, there's the redirect. 5-hole. Fleury was going to play with his stick. When he did that, he opened up the legs, you see, just a little bit. And Andrew Ladd was there to redirect it through those legs. He gives him 6 on the season to lead the Jets, and they get on the board first.
So about 165 minutes of shutout hockey for Marc-Andre Fleury comes to an end, and the Jets are on the board scoring the first goal, and that hasn't happened a lot to the Penguins either this year. This is only, what, the 3rd or 4th time the Penguins have allowed the first goal. I'd have to check it, but they allow the first goal tonight to the Winnipeg Jets, and Andrew Ladd, who now has 6 on the year.
Only the 3rd time they've allowed the first goal.
Thank you.
They're 2-0-0 and allowing the first goal.
And they're built to come back. There's no doubt about that. They'll have to do it here against Andrew Ladd and the Jets. We'll return to Winnipeg, the cultural center of Canada, in just a moment.
The Jets on the board first here in Winnipeg with a 1-0 lead. Time for our UPMC Sports Medicine injury update. Before we left town on Monday, we learned that Bo Bennett was headed to Wilkes-Barre Scranton for some much-needed playing time. The winger is currently practicing with the Baby Penguins. It's not a conditioning assignment. He did say that he feels like he's 100%. Bo sustained a lower body injury during camp. He is scheduled to play tomorrow night when the Baby Penguins host Hershey. Bring you another update on Saturday, guys.
Thank you, Danny. Looking forward to seeing Bo come back. He has some ties to Winnipeg. His grandparents were from here. And that's how he got exposed to hockey as a young guy in California. Here's Little with it now to Frolik, a drive. He just missed on the glove side of Fleury. And the Jets have had some good looks at Marc-Andre Fleury here in the period, as have the Penguins against Pavlik. The Jets have outshot the Penguins 7-4. The coach of the Penguins, Mike Johnston, said today he wants us to be a shot volume team. And so far, not a lot of volume, though I have to give credit to the blockers of the Jets. Thorburn and Trouba in particular blocking a couple of glorious chances in the slot. Dupre snaps it to the right wing to Downey. Downey fires it wide. Scuderi over with a good stick to keep it in, but now Scheifele just fires it back up towards the Penguin line where Dupre headmans the puck to Downey. Comes in with Sutter there for support. Brandon Sutter goes to work against two Jets. Scheifele winning the battle. Scheifele was drafted to be a good two-way player for them. Here's Dupre shooting. He scores! Simon Dupre. I think he'll get the goal. It didn't look like it was deflected on the way in, and for Dupre, his first goal in 71 games.
And another plus for Simon Dupre, who just keeps racking them up. He's a +7 now. Tied with Chris Kunitz, the team lead in that department. And the Penguins win the battle in the corners. Sutter using the wall, and then you get traffic. Look at Downey in front of Pavlik. He just waves at it, as does the netminder. And boy, tough to see if he got a piece of that Downey or not, but just getting in there, getting into the kitchen of Pavlik. And Simon Dupre is on the board, say 1-1, just like that.
Dupre only played 11 minutes, the fewest number of minutes among the defense corps against the Wild the other night, which he did have to leave the ice on a fighting major. Paul Martin played 27 minutes, and Letang played 28 against the Wild. Here's a chance now for Buffalo with that heavy shot. He's got a wicked slap shot, and wicked. Directed out of play by Marc-Andre Fleury. We invite you to tweet us at Root Sports Pit using the hashtag PensBooth. Send your comments, questions, and thoughts about the Pens. You can ask Bob Airy any question you want. Brought to you by Point Park University. And the reason I bring up those numbers on the ice time for Letang and also Martin was that a lot of people wondered how that ice time would be spread around with Ole Mata not available to the team for a few weeks. And you got your answer right there. Letang 28, Martin 27 against the Wild.
Yep. Well, Crosby's on the ice. They want Tobias Enstrom, the left defenseman, 39 with a puck now to match up against Crosby. There's another redirect by Ladd right in the kitchen of Marc-Andre Fleury. You saw one goal scored at one end, a redirect right in the blue paint basically by Ladd. Then you saw Downey right in front of Pavlik the other end. You don't score goals in the league if you don't go to the front of the net. Against these top echelon goaltenders playing at the top of their game right now, you got to get in front of them so they can't come up and cut the angle down, so they can't see the puck. That's how you score goals.
Letang backhands it up the boards for Kunitz, into the middle for Sutter, who took the face-off. He couldn't take the pass, though, and Andrew Ladd has it. Back to Bogosian. To Enstrom, shortening up on that stick to play the puck. Over to Bogosian, and he'll carry the puck. Ahead a little, not a Frolik. This pass went off a skate. Held in by Enstrom behind the net. Penguins trying to get it out on the near wall. And Crosby reaching in there, as well as Paul Martin. Crosby banks it off the boards and out to center ice. Frolik's got it there. Bogosian to Enstrom.
That is a long stick he's using. His dad just increased the length of it every year, but he never grew. So the stick got longer, but he didn't get taller.
Makes him an effective defender, though. You wonder how he uses it offensively, but he's able to find a way. Here's Bortuzzo wristing it, and it never got past the circle. Now it is Bufflin. He's able to bang it off the boards and back into the Penguin zone. Gotch to Adams, and right back to Gotch. Bufflin got in his face. Over to play it now is Zach Sill. Bufflin hustles back to get to the puck. He's playing good tonight, Dustin Bufflin. As a forward.
Yes, good point there. He played half the year defense and half forward. Look at it.
He had a chance there. Fleury stopped him. Back out to the point, and Postma fires one wide of the goal. To the near side, Klitzum keeps it alive to the corner. And now it'll be Marcel Gotch. Penguins' fourth line having a tough time here in their own zone. Adams trying to get it out. Can't do it. Held in, and it's Perreault with it in the slot. Matthew Perreault tried to drag it around Robert Bortuzzo and couldn't do so, and now Stewart leaves it for Postma. On the left wing, Perreault. But Sill gets to the puck. Moves it back for Dupre. Simon Dupre fired it off the glass. Downey wanted to play it, but good gap there for the Jets as they're able to get in the neutral zone and dump it right back in. Wheeler gets in after it, but That turns out to be an icing against Winnipeg.
Well, both these teams are riding hot streaks. The Penguins 5-0-0 in their last 5. The Jets in their last 6, 5-0-1. Look at the goals for and goals against. Penguins one fewer game, but they've scored just about twice as many goals. And defense has been the key for Paul Maurice's team and for the Pittsburgh Penguins.
And they had 2 shutouts over the weekend. They shut out the Rangers and the Blackhawks. Pavlik and Michael Hutchinson, the backup goaltender, each got a shutout on the weekend. So they won 2 1-0 games, and that's why the margin for error is not very wide, and not a lot of goals for and not a lot of goals against, but a lot of wins for the Jets. Now the Penguins 2-on-2 rush here. It's Sutter shooting, and that may have clipped the arm of the goaltender Pavlik. Now at center ice, Wheeler finds Kane. Kane still looking for his first goal. Shoots it hard up high off the glass and around to the near side.
Took a good hit from Letang after he released that puck. You like to see that. Chris Letang out against Kane here in this one.
They're going to be scoring a lot more goals once they get him going. He missed the first 5 games with an injury. And Evander Kane can score goals. He scored a couple beauties last year against the Penguins. This is Bogosian. Rushing the puck with confidence. He drives it around the horn. Up the wall. He comes right to the puck again and backhands it in behind the net. Letang steps in trying to get a hold of it. It hasn't been a particularly physical game. It's more of a puck control type of game again, similar to what we saw the other night.
I think the Penguins
more chances, however.
Yeah, I think the Penguins got to up their physicality. Rob Bortuzzo's been noticeable, but it's been Lowry, it's been Ladd, and there's Letang with a good strong play on the puck to separate Ladd from puck and send the Penguins the other way.
And Malkin's got it now, turns with it, looks back. The Penguins were changing their defense. Bortuzzo has the puck now, sends it down the wall where Dupuis helps it along down to the corner. Crashing in there is Como against Stewart. Puck up for grabs, and Andrew Ladd will just golf it back out to center. Taken there by Christian Ehrhoff, and the bouncing puck is whacked off the boards. The Penguins are changing, and the Jets go D to D with 4:24 remaining in the first period, and the game tied at 1. Scheifele moves it to the right wing to Blake Wheeler, dangerous right winger. Wheeler shoots it and kicked out by Fleury after it was deflected.
Oh boy, another redirection. The right pad, like that flipper, that pinball flipper came out. Marc-Andre Fleury. We got a fight here.
Yep, behind the play, it's Wheeler and Bortuzzo. Bortuzzo firing left now. Wheeler coming back with the right hands.
Wheeler hit him with a hard right.
Now Wheeler's down and Bortuzzo doesn't throw any more punches. Well, we thought maybe we'd see Bortuzzo go with Thorburn, but that's not the case. He goes with Wheeler.
Well, Robert Bortuzzo has been visible already, very visible in his 2 hockey games for Pittsburgh this year. He's been physical. Not sure what precipitated that. Scrap against Wheeler was behind the play. An extra shot by Bortuzzo. A spirited battle. Now it's getting tough.
1-1 the score. Coming up in the first intermission, presented by your neighborhood Ford store with Rob and Jay. Dan will speak with Simon Despres, the goal scorer for the Penguins tonight, his first of the season. Off to a really good start. He's now a +7 for the Penguins.
Had 5 points in his 12th game here so far for Pittsburgh.
And he gets the least ice time of any defenseman.
Ole Matto's got 5 even strength points. Simon Despres got 5 even strength points.
And
He's the lead defenseman.
He leads them with hits with 37 too. He leads the team in that category, the group of defensemen. So it's been a very good start playing alongside of Rob Scuderi. On the right side is a left shot.
3 fights as well for Simon Despres this year, Staggy, coming off that good scrap by Robert Bortuzzo.
2 big boys in that fight. Wheeler's 6'5", Bortuzzo's 6'4". 2 guys with a long reach. And now the puck out of play.
Well, the Jets want to see where they are as a hockey team. You know, they haven't scored many goals, and really, it's minuscule numbers. You're under 2 goals a game for this Jets team, but they're not giving up much. And Paul Maurice says we got to start somewhere. They're starting to gain an identity. And Mike Johnson said the same thing. And I've watched the last few games, and you can sense they're playing better. And then you have to start somewhere. We used to. Every game we've played against Winnipeg the last few games, it's been, what, 8-5, 7-4, regardless of how they start out. We'll see how this one finishes.
Sutter trying to get a hold of it. Downey there, looks for Spalling, and back checking on him was Thorburn, but now Sutter to Scuderi, the shot, never got through. Penguins' third line contributed to that goal by Despres. The assists going to Sutter and Downey. Bob Huggins and his Mountaineers are gearing up for a new season. You can see the team back on the court this weekend during their exhibition game against Shepherd University. Don't miss any of it from the WVU Coliseum. Tipping off live Sunday at 4 right here on Root Sports.
Pascal Dupuis on the ice. He spent some time in Atlanta. And then we picked him up, Stegen, along with Hossa, Marian Hossa.
Dupuis has just gotten better and better. He's like a fine wine, isn't he? A fine French wine. He's a guy who likes his wines too. Here's Malkin with it now, and he'll just dump it rink wide. Right back to Letang. Over to Ehrhoff. Ahead for Malkin. Tried to direct it into the zone. Comes right back for Ehrhoff, and he looks to the right wing for Como. Stewart stepped up on him. Now Dupuis gets in there and tried to break it up. Bufflin's cutting the other way. Bufflin sliding into the goal. He kind of fanned on the shot, and Fleury had his right pad down to make the save on Dustin Bufflin.
Whoa, look out.
Dupuis almost got crushed by Bufflin. And Letang tried to dump the puck deep, couldn't do so. Kane for Bufflin. Great save by Fleury. He stopped it, and the Penguins end up with a puck. Como clears it out of danger.
Well, you take away the lower part. Bufflin got a lot of wood on it. He fanned on the first one, not on that one.
Kane with a shot, and Fleury got his glove up, and I don't know if he got a piece of that or not. Now it's Bogosian with it. Bogosian brings it in deep. The Jets are on a roll right now. They center, and it is Como carrying it back for the Penguins. 1:56 remaining in the period. Here goes Toby Enstrom back.
Downey's talking to Bufflin as Bufflin's trying to change. Too many men on the ice. That's exactly what happened. Downey forced a too many men on the ice by the Winnipeg Jets. Bufflin went to change. He had one great shift. He did everything he could without scoring a goal for his hockey team, but he didn't get off the ice. Downey engaged with him. Take a look. This is a little stick right here on the hands. That's why the fan. And then Bufflin with a big hit on Pascal Dupuis halfway through the shift, and then taking that feed from Kane. The huge save, monumental by Fleury, you would think, as this game goes on. But then Downey forced a penalty on Bufflin, Steggy. As he was going to the bench, Downey came off, and he said, hey, you're not going to do that, not against our team, not while I'm here. And Bufflin looked at him again. By that time, there was 6 Jets on the ice. And I'm not blaming it on Bufflin. The man can't jump on for Bufflin. Bufflin was 10 feet from the bench. You can't jump on for Bufflin if he's still on the ice.
Thorburn serving the penalty. Bench minor, and now here's Kunitz winding it around to the right wing, and Hornquist tries to get around Stewart. And Tang pinched in. Crosby racing to the puck right now. Centered it, but Ladd's got it. Number 1 power play unit of the Penguins looking to take the lead here. Blocker save made by Fleury on Jacob Trouba. Malkin leaves it there for Letang.
That's one way to back off this power play. They've given up 2 shorthanded goals, and if you have an ability to score shorthanded, I think you take it to them. And that's what Winnipeg does. They do have propensity to score a couple of goals, at least guys that can do it.
We're down to the final minute of the period. The Penguins looking to get that power play goal before the horn. Here's Kunitz with it now to Malkin, a drive, and a good arm save there by Pavlik as he directed it up into the netting. And there'll be a face-off in the Winnipeg zone.
And Pavlik has looked good, and he stopped both Crosby and Malkin from that area. This one here, like the glove hand of Pavlik, just getting a bit on that puck. Here's Downey talking to Bufflin. Engaged, and Bufflin took his time getting off. By that time, his man had changed for him. And well, let's see if it leads to a goal. The Winnipeg Jets, the 3rd most penalties they've had to kill. This is the 52nd penalty kill of the season.
Second power play unit on for the Penguins. Sutter, Dupuis, and Downey up front. Ehrhoff shot, save made. Rebound. Sutter able to get to it. Here's Dupuis shooting, and that is blocked. Good work there by Evander Kane to get up tight on Dupuis and prevent him from getting that shot to the goal. Down to 28 seconds to go in the period. Centering pass. Dupuis tries to settle it down. Ehrhoff there as well. 2 Jets on him. He made a nice pass to Dupuis. Now over to Paul Martin. Martin for Sutter. Downey's on the goal line. Sutter closes in and shoots it off the stick of Enstrom. Off the glass and cleared.
Yeah, so you got Kane and Scheifele out there. Kane, if he gets a step, he's gone. So they do have offensive weapons killing this penalty for the Jets. 4th best penalty kill in the league.
One more chance here for the Penguins. Spaulding looks for Ehrhoff. Now to Martin. And his pass went behind Sutter as the horn sounds. 13 seconds remaining on that bench minor to the Jets when the second period begins. Some great goaltending at both ends here in the first period, with the game tied at 1.
Yeah, really good stuff. You look at the shots, 16 for the Jets, 8 for the Penguins. A lot of good blocks. A lot of help in front of Pavlik.
Let's go to Robin Jay in Pittsburgh.
Doggy Bob, thanks very much. I think what you'd expect out of two teams, Jay. Winnipeg comes in 5-0-1 in their last 6. Of course, the Penguins have won 5 in a row.
This is kind of the effort that I thought we'd see from Minnesota the other night. I mean, Winnipeg is going out. They don't care. They're just playing a hard, fast period. Minnesota the other night sat back, tried to be defensive. Winnipeg is going after it. They've been playing well. They've had a couple big wins, and that first period showed. Great goaltending on both sides. Fleury had to be strong, and certainly on Pavlik, he's been very, very good in guys dropping, blocking shots, all that stuff. But Winnipeg is a hard-working team that has some skill that's putting pressure on Pittsburgh right now.
Pens and Jets tied at 1 after 20 minutes of play. Coming up next, Jay will tell us straight for you. He'll also have analysis. Dan Potash with the player interview. All that and more coming up next in the First Intermission Report, brought to you by your neighborhood Ford store. Penguins have 13 seconds left on a power play that carries over into the second period of a 1-1 game. The penalty kill unit hasn't been tested yet. They've killed off 30 in a row. The guy who runs that PK unit is assistant Gary Agnew, and he is with Dan Potash.
Well, the Jets with just 1 goal in that first period, but Gary, they don't look like a team that's struggling offensively with 15 shots and goal in the first 20 minutes. So how do you counter that in the second period?
Yeah, you're right. They came out with a lot of gumption and put a lot of pucks at our net, and obviously their strategy was to get it in and bang us around a little bit. So I think we weren't surprised by it, but certainly we got to react to it and have a little bit of a pushback, get our forecheck established here in the second period, and weather the storm, so to speak.
Gary, good talk.
Thanks.
Paul, it's all yours.
Thank you, Dan. And Bob, your impressions of that first period? The Jets certainly look like a confident team right now.
Well, they are. Byfuglien can hurt you when he's engaged. He's a big man. He had 4 shots in that period. And what Gary Agnew said is we got to get not that push, but we need that forecheck. And we said that during the first period of play. You got to get the puck in. You got to be a little more abrasive. I didn't think the Penguins were hitting enough in that first period of play. So they got to up the ante that way and try to back off this Winnipeg Jet team that's riding a high right now. There's no question about it. And Sidney Crosby, the captain, he's a guy that can, well, he's riding a high. He's leading the National Hockey League. He can get it going for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Andrew Ladd, the captain of the Jets, has already got it going. He opened the scoring for Winnipeg. A good battle with those two.
Penguins on a UPMC Sports Medicine power play to begin this period. Not much time to work with, down to 4 seconds already. Here's Kunitz. He finds Hornquist, who drops it off to Crosby, to Letang, the shot, and it just missed. Back to the near side, and Paul Martin. And picked up now by Crosby, who turns and leaves it for Letang. His shot, and there's Hornquist trying to redirect it. He ends up controlling it behind the net. The centering pass is going to be dragged ahead by Thorburn. Over to Andrew Ladd, who's confronted there by Kunitz, and now Hornquist.
They are more physical already. You can see there's Kunitz and Hornquist. Physical on Ladd.
And now Thorburn and Hornquist push and shove as Hornquist tries to get to the bench. Ladd got in his way too.
Well, and then you got Kane and Crosby with some stick swinging over there.
Letang moved it in front. Trouba tried to clear it. It's loose around the net. Spalling reaching for it. So is Downey. Pinballing around in front of the net, and it's cleared away by the Jets. And Downey moves it to the point. There's Scuderi wristing it wide to the corner. Dupre moves up on the backhand quickly, beautifully turning to the forehand and finding Spalling, who shoots it wide. That was a nifty play there by Dupre on the wall to get himself turned around to make the pass.
Well, this game got chippy quick, didn't it, Staggy? Dupre's been, I think he's been slick. He's been elusive. Like you say, he's only averaging 11.5 minutes a hockey game. There's another good feed up to Sutter. Always got the head up, composed, feeling good with Rob Scuderi as his partner.
Jacob Trouba, who was taken 7th overall in that draft, 9th overall in Pittsburgh in 2012, the same draft that Derek Pouliot and Ole Mata were selected in. Tons of great defensemen in that first round in Pittsburgh in 2012, and Trouba's one of them. Now he's defending there as he got his left leg on the shot by Dupuis, and Letang settles the puck down and wrists it in behind the goal where Como's got it. Como and Malkin go to work now in the offensive zone. Malkin looked for Ehrhoff, chipped behind him, and there goes Kane again. Confronted by Letang, poke check by Fleury. There's going to be a penalty. Letang appeared to take a stick up high there. And he's going to get the penalty as he tried to cut off Evander Kane, who went with blinding speed to the net.
Chip off the wall. Kane with great speed, able to protect the puck. Fleury was going out with a poke check. The shift before Hornquist was getting in on the forecheck, the redirect, and the good pad save by Pavlik. A lot of rough stuff in that shift as Andrew Ladd got tagged not just once by Hornquist. Kunitz got in on Andrew Ladd, who is really the leader of this team. A little slash by Kane. Another whack back. And it's got chippy very quickly. And Gary Agnew, I think he tipped us off. We're going to get into the forecheck and see if they like it.
Now the Penguins have to go to work on the penalty kill and try to make it 31 in a row. Enstrom risks it down the boards, and the Penguins quickly clear it. Scuderi didn't get all the way down the ice, and Byfuglien leaves it there for Toby Enstrom. Enstrom brings it ahead to center and drives it into the Penguin zone, and after it is Scuderi. Under pressure. Byfuglien pinching down on Gotch, but Martin able to clear, so the Penguins do a good job there of making sure the Jets don't get control. They've got Byfuglien on the ice along with Little up front. Byfuglien steers the puck into the right wing corner. Matthew Perreault on the ice as well, getting a chance to play on the power play. Andrew Ladd out here now working the left wall. Andrew Ladd looks for Little in the slot. A shot and a save. Rebound. Big stop there on Byfuglien, and then Fleury able to freeze it with Byfuglien looking for more.
Well, you can see why this guy, when he's engaged, is one of the hardest guys to track down. Nobody knows exactly how much he weighs. 250, 230, 260. Not sure, but there is shot number 5 and maybe even number 6 for Byfuglien. After Little from the right point, there's the redirect by Perreault in front, and Byfuglien, he's such a big body in front. He didn't have to touch the puck. He's going to provide a screen naturally. Makes it tough for Fleury, and the Penguins, elusive there.
Another good unit on the ice here is Wheeler, Kane, and Scheifele, and Kane there whacking at the glove of Fleury, who is able to freeze it.
They've got, they don't mind playing physical. The Penguins weren't physical until the start of the second period. And now they've tried to match Winnipeg. They've taken a penalty. Kane with his great speed. Now the power play's on the ice, and it hasn't been a great power play. There's Byfuglien on the left point right now. He's got that big bomb back there, Staggy. He can hurt you with that too. We just saw him in front of the net. Now he's on the point.
Toby Enstrom to Kane. Evander Kane shoots it. Blocked by Bortuzzo. Backhand try by Kane. It's scooped up by Marc-Andre Fleury. Kane missed the first 8 games of the season for Winnipeg. This is his 6th game played, still looking for his first goal, and he's had a couple of good opportunities here.
And that one was deflected by Wheeler in front. Look at how big he is. He got in the fight. He's going to redirect this one through his legs. And, I don't know exactly, but I would have to think half of the 17 shots in on Fleury have been deflected tonight. And that's tough. That's tough on a netminder.
Gotch wins 56% of his faceoffs. He doesn't win this one. That would have been a good one to win, too. Penguins are having a little bit tougher time on this penalty kill because they spend a lot of time in their own zone. Haven't been able to get good clears. Scuderi sends it up, and it doesn't go all the way out. It's held in by Toby Enstrom, and then right there is Gotch to make sure he jammed it back up into the Winnipeg zone.
Well, you got a good block on Byfuglien on that shift, and good help by Gotch to get that puck out.
17, 16, 15 seconds remaining on the penalty. Here's Wheeler down the wing on his off wing. And you saw how Fleury hugged the post there? That's the Fleury under Mike Bales. Now Enstrom to the left side, and the shot by Scheifele missed the goal. Boy, he had a good look too, but he just fired it wide.
Oh, hit the side of the net.
Letang's on the ice, and Kane sent the puck back to the net. Letang sneaking up ice. Gotch would like to get him the puck. He uses the ball boards to bank it to him, and now the Penguins will change. And Letang will give it to Dupre. Moves it ahead to Sidney Crosby. He's got Kunitz with him. Crosby shoots it, and a blocker save made. And Crosby got his own rebound. Looked for Christian Ehrhoff, and Little read the play, and he springs Ladd to center with Trouba. Here's Trouba pushing it wide. He was checked closely by Paul Martin coming back. And Little sends it around on the glass, and it'll skim up into the netting behind the Pittsburgh goal.
Shots from everywhere in this one. Oh, Matthew Perreault, Staggy.
Yeah, he was on that power play, and he recently, well, not too recently, but as a junior player, he won the Michel Briere Award. And the reason we bring that up, of course, is because Michel Briere, number 21, is retired by the Penguins, and He was a tremendous rookie back in the 69-70 season. And you see the notable winners, including Sidney Crosby of that award. And of course Mario Lemieux as well. Up the right wing is Hornquist, leaving it there for Crosby to Hornquist. A shot at a save made by Andre Pavlik.
Well, not a lot of success in his career. You mentioned it, only a couple of wins. But in his last 5 starts, he's got the .955 save percentage. Wade Flaherty, the goaltending coach, been working with Pavlik. And he's been working on his own body to get himself in shape and ready for this season. Paul Maurice, the coach, wanted everybody, when they exited last spring, he wanted everybody in tip-top shape. There were no excuses after the way they finished.
Now the Jets bring it to center ice. And it is Matthew Perreault as he dekes his way down the right wing boards, and Perreault on the puck. He played well for the Washington Capitals against the Penguins. Never scored a goal against Pittsburgh, but I always felt like he was making things happen out there. Here's a shot by Lowry that's blocked. And Christian Ehrhoff is able to lift it out to center, where it's gloved down by Como ahead to Malkin. Malkin holds it, looks back for Paul Martin, couldn't get it there. Martin will skate over to the puck now and leave it in along the wall for Malkin. Back for Martin, he's trapped a bit. Como's covering for him as the Jets come to center, and it's Byfuglien on the right wing. Como is defending against Perreault. Got good body position on him, and he ends up with a puck. Now Como, forced back into the corner, will find Paul Martin. Como got drilled over there by Byfuglien. Just draped him into the glass. And now it's Scuderi with it at center ice for Sutter, and went past his stick right to the goal. And it's going to be an icing call here.
You'd have to be blind not to be impressed with Byfuglien. And the same with Marc-Andre Fleury in his NHL debut. Look, 2 goals on 48 shots. He stopped the penalty shot. That's the fairness right there. You know, he allowed the first shot on net in, Staggy, in his first game. And we were there.
We've seen it all, and we've enjoyed it all, too. Marc-Andre Fleury. We know in Pittsburgh how great he is. Yes, he had some issues in the playoffs, but who didn't on this team a couple of years ago? There's a chance right in front. Fleury looking around for the puck as it's off a stick and deflected up into the netting in the near corner.
I'm enjoying this game. I don't know if the goalies are. Marc-Andre Fleury, get him out of the blue paint.
A good battle between the Penguins and Jets here in Winnipeg, Manitoba. And if you're a fan of the Jets from their early days in the WHA and you just had some extra cash laying around, then this could have been yours. A Bobby Hull original Jets jersey from the 72-73 season was auctioned off Tuesday for just over $122,000 at classicauctions.net. Guys, if I'm correct, a Bob Airey jersey from the mid-'80s could bring in some heavy cash as well. No?
I don't think so, Danny. Was that Canadian or American? Oh, man, I love it. The Golden Jet.
Here's Downey after the puck. By the way, right here in Winnipeg is where they make a lot of the money. There's a mint here for Canada. And Bobby, you could go down and get some brand new loonies and toonies if you want.
Yeah, they don't make pennies anymore, though, Staggy. They don't deal in copper anymore.
Loose puck around the net, and their money, their cash is a unique texture to it. Here's Sutter down the slot, shoots and scores! He finished it off against Pavlik to give the Penguins a 2-1 lead. And a nice glossy finish at that.
And the third line again. They've got both goals in this game. They were the best line in Minnesota. And Robert Bortuzzo was on the ice for that one. He lost his stick on the way. Great play defensively. Sutter's behind the net. And there Bortuzzo loses his stick, but he's still going to get a point on this one as Sutter, so dangerous, scores in back-to-back hockey games. He's got great speed, and he carries that speed right by the defense of the Winnipeg Jets. And that third line tormenting the opposition on this road trip.
Number 4 for Brandon Sutter.
Pittsburgh goal is for
Only the great preseason keeps on trucking.
Now Frolik hounded by Kunitz. Stepping in was Hornquist, but then it's taken by Little, and the shot blocked by Letang. Back around for Andrew Ladd. Up top now to Bogosian. And behind for Frolik. For Little. Letang over against him. Shoves him. Looks for the puck. Now Ladd just throws Letang down. And Offside here. They'll bring it back out. Drop it.
Well, you mentioned Pavlik has struggled against the Pittsburgh Penguins. That is putting it mildly. 143 his winning percentage amongst active goalies with 5 or more. Look at the names. Pecorine and Ryan Miller down there in the bottom. No success against Pittsburgh either. They are clipping at 35% plus, just over that, Staggy. In terms of shooting percentage, 15 feet and in. That is unheard of. You're scoring every one of 3 shots within 15 feet this year, the Pittsburgh Penguins. So they get there, you know, it's unbelievable. A lot of that's because of the power play, but still.
And it's funny because that's what you would consider the dirty area, or Jimmy Rutherford calls it the red zone in hockey. And that's an area that the Penguins want to get to more in the postseason if they can. Here's Kunitz crisscrossing with Hornquist. The backhand shot wide of the net. It goes in behind. Kunitz is there. Scheifele takes him out, but he just shrugs that check off, and Crosby looks to center now for Hornquist. Glove down by Kunitz. His shot off. Well, that jumped up and hit a man in the face, Toby Enstrom, and he drops the stick. And now Enstrom without a stick as the Jets trying to come out of their own zone. Scuderi came over. They're able to get it out, and it's Kane with Scheifele off the bench. Comes Sill to the goal, and the Fleury takes a whack. It's Scheifele, I believe it is, right there on the doorstep.
Well, Scheifele got a piece of him after the Kane shot, hit him right under the chin, and then the stick came out. Simone Dupre's dropped the gloves again. Ooh. Kane can really fight. They're going to take off their helmets. This is extra penalties for those two. And Simone Dupre better be careful here because Kane knocked out Matt Cook a couple of years ago.
Absolutely, Bob.
Named after Evander Holyfield. Evander Kane, so look out.
He's throwing the right hands.
He's got his right hand loose.
Dupre's trying to throw rights himself.
You better not let your guard down. Oh, there it is. The right just missed, but he got him down. And that's a spirited battle, and I give Simone Dupre high marks once again, standing up for his netminder. This game is, and listen to the crowd here now.
Well, Kane got them going. They're all standing, and he's trying to get the crowd into the game. Didn't used to be a problem for the Jets getting the crowd into the game, and now they have to be coerced into doing it as Fleury took a whack. And that's Scheifele.
Yep. Simone Dupre got right in there, and he didn't hesitate. You're not going to shy away from anything.
Oh.
That one there just about would have knocked many a player down, Staggy, right on the chin. And there's that polarizing figure I spoke of.
But a figure, nonetheless, that a lot of teams would love to have, I think, in terms of what he's able to bring offensively and on the ice, and obviously physically too. Mm-hmm. And give Dupre high marks.
Oh, I do. I definitely do. You know, people know who the tough customers are around the league, and it takes courage. It takes courage to play the game, and it takes courage to drop your gloves in that situation, stand up for your netminder. And Simone Simon Dupre, as we're calling him now, is 1 assist away from the Gordie Howe hat trick.
Well, the Penguins get a goal from Sutter, his 4th unassisted at 6:50 here in the second period to lead 2-1.
Boy, this game has been very physical, very chippy.
It wasn't that physical in the first.
No.
The Penguins sort of began to initiate it more here in the second.
I think we got tired of Bufflin running around. There's going to be some extra penalties for the helmets being taken off here, Staggy. Not allowed to do that in the fighting department anymore, trying to protect the players. And you saw how Simone Dupre went down at the end of the fight. That's exactly why. If you notice the end of... Yeah, they're talking about taking the helmets off. And if you notice the end of the fight, Simone Dupre gets taken down by Kane, Staggy, and his head is very, very close to being driven into the ice. And that's been a real problem. Take a look at the end of this fight as he gets twisted around right here. I mean, he's very close to being driven. And you're in a fight there. You're in a battle. I mean, nobody cares. So, you know, they're going to try to... Anything goes in a fight at that point. And he was able to keep his head up and not have it driven into the ice.
Paul Maurice's team Playing pretty well in the Central Division. They're 3-1 in their division, and they consider that extremely important because they were 9-15-5 in their division last year. So they really know they have to be way more competitive if they have any hopes of making the playoffs in a tough Western Conference. We're still waiting for clarification here as Sill and Dupre are in the box for Pittsburgh. Scheifele and Kane for the Winnipeg Jets.
Five on five.
And off the draw, the Jets control, and it's Trouba. And he risks it in deep. Here's the announcements on the penalties. 5-5-2 each for unsportsmanlike conduct. That's removing the helmets. Now here's Martin. Fleury got 2 for slashing, and Scheifele also got 2 for slashing. Here's Frolik. Leaving it now for Little, but Malkin got back to break it up. Evgeny Malkin slides it along now for Blake Comeau. Comeau carries into the offensive zone. Looks for Dupuis going to the net. Couldn't get it through to him. Now Trouba and Stewart team up to try to get it out, and Ladd will take it on the left wing boards. Letang and Ehrhoff are back. A couple of times tonight, Ehrhoff has pinched, and the offside winger has come in behind him to get a good opportunity. Both times it was Kane. Now the Jets at center. There's a man cutting in behind Ehrhoff again. It's Byfuglien this time, and now Ehrhoff, he looks over at defenseman Klitzen, who is joining the rush. Matthew Perreault out for the point, but Spalling picked it off and found Downey, and he dumps it into the right wing corner of the Jets zone.
Be a penalty here on Klitzen for knocking down Downey, but Downey comes in late and hits Byfuglien. I don't know if the referees are just going to forget about that one or not. They're just going to get one man, and that is going to be interference on Klitzen on the dump in. Let's take a look. There's Downey. There's the interference. Down he goes. And he's fortunate he didn't take an extra one there.
Well, the penalty box is full of Jets.
And the Penguins are on that power play. They're up 2-1. Only 12 shots for Pittsburgh. Capitalized on 2. And I believe this is their second power play opportunity here tonight.
UPMC Sports Medicine power play. The first one carried over from the first to the second.
A little extra room on the bench there.
Penguins win the draw. Letang sends it in behind the net for Hornquist. Down to Kunitz. And around for Sidney Crosby. Crosby looks it over. Hornquist in the slot. He goes through to Malkin instead. The shot is blocked. And it was TJ Gagliardi who blocked it. And now carrying it to center ice is Slater. Slater can't get around Malkin, and Kunitz comes back and takes the puck and finds Malkin. Crosby looks up and finds Letang. Here's Letang looking back to Kunitz. Kunitz slap pass, and it's right on. Crosby got knocked down in front of the net as that shot came through. Now it's Letang with it to Kunitz. Playing the point at the moment. He moves it down low for Crosby. Kunitz goes to the slot. Letang takes his spot on the point. Finds Sid. One-timer stopped by Pavlik. And the rebound, Kunitz. Hornquist, Crosby, Malkin's open. Crosby goes to Hornquist. It goes by him and through where Letang can play it on the backhand. Letang behind the net for Kunitz. Slater and Gagliardi still up front on the penalty kill. Stewart and Trouba are back. Here's Letang, fans on the shot. Looks to pass it to Malkin, too much on it. And it's going to go back into the Penguin zone. 54 seconds to go. The Penguins will get their second power play unit on, at least part of it. Here's Kunitz with it now. Kunitz for Crosby, gloves it down, looks for Ehrhoff. Ehrhoff spins away. As Wheeler and Frolik are up front now on the penalty kill for the Jets. It's Ehrhoff with it. Ehrhoff to Kunitz. 37 seconds on the penalty. Kunitz with a little moonwalk here now for Malkin. Malkin closes in. Malkin had it knocked off his stick. Going to go get it, but then Wheeler got a hold of it, and there's a penalty coming up here. As there's a hook on the play, and Pavlik went down in the crease.
And this one's going to go against Frolik. He's going to the box. Scheifele and Sill come out. Scheifele and Kane were penalty killing for the first Winnipeg Jet penalty kill. So the Penguins are going to go on a 5-on-3. They've already scored 4 goals. And this long change in the second period, Fleury went down, and he tried to help get this puck up quickly. Look at all the Jets changing on the right. They get the stretch pass up the left side of the ice. And that helps lead to the penalty. Marc-Andre Fleury helping out. That long pass with body, there's a little hook. And those 2 penalties, they weren't a lot, They weren't a lot, just a little bit of an interference, a little bit of a hook, and now the Jets in a heap of trouble right now. I'm not sure if they call timeout here or not. Face off to the right of Pavlik. They must have called a timeout here. The Jets, as they were, all their penalty killers retired. As I mentioned, Kane and Klitsum's in the box, but Scheifele just got out. He was one of the penalty killers initially.
So the Penguins, with their 5-on-3, will try to win a draw here with 29 seconds to go on the Klitsum penalty. Crosby wins it cleanly against Little. Malkin, Letang, back to Gino. Now to Hornquist. Crosby's parked off to the left of the goal. Letang with it. Letang wants to shoot it. Now he passes it to Crosby. To Malkin. Here's Letang shooting in the save. And Crosby to Malkin. Malkin's shot, and that's off the stick a little over the goal. Kunitz hustling to get it. Penguins are so good at retrieving pucks, but now Little makes a great play to take it away from Kunitz.
So it was a Penguin timeout to make sense to rest their 5 guys that were on the ice for the 5-on-4 to give them that ability to score 5-on-3. That didn't happen. Time left here, though.
And Patrick Hornquist with it on the right wing. Leaves it for Gino. Minute 15 to go on the 5-on-4. In front of the deflection. Save made and swept away. Back to the corner. Kunitz and Sutter go to work. Sutter won the battle behind the net. Hornquist trying to get a hold of the puck, bouncing. Letang took a whack at it, and finally it's going to be cleared by Bogosian into the Penguin zone. And Malkin going to go back and get it. Got to watch for those shorthanded opportunities here.
Yeah, especially with Malkin, who's got to get it off the ice, is now moving off. He was tired.
There goes Ehrhoff with it now. Ehrhoff to Downey. Downey drops it back for Martinic. Not a good pass there as Wheeler was right on him, but Downey's going to get the puck back. Enstrom took it away from him, and now Martin takes it away from him. Enstrom got dumped.
Oh, that should have been a penalty.
No penalty on the play. Sutter right there on the doorstep, and Pavlik shut the door on him. Fans are booing. They think there should have been a call there as Enstrom got dumped. Here's Wheeler against Ehrhoff. Now to Scheifele, and his shot off the stick of Dupuis. Martin moves it ahead. 15 seconds to go on the Frolik penalty. And Mark Scheifele showing what he can do right now for the Jets. First round draft pick. Andrew Ladd after it. Ehrhoff there too. Oh boy, the two of them crashed into the boards. They went shoulder to shoulder. Ehrhoff went flying into the boards, but he's okay. Listen to the crowd right now. They're fired up as the Jets have killed off the Penguins' incredible power play, including a 5-on-3. Here's Ladd over the line. So they'll have some momentum now with the crowd on their side. Ehrhoff, and you would bet the referees might be looking for a call to go the other way here too. Keep your eye out for that. Here's Gotch with it. And now we're getting that atmosphere we came to know here in Winnipeg as the Jets have earned the favor of their fans with that great penalty-killing effort. Pavlik stops it behind the net. Klitsum has it now for Winnipeg. Leaves it in the corner for Postma. Sends it up the wall to center, and it's handled there by Scuderi. Over to Bortuzzo. They play catch. Scuderi moves it ahead where it's tipped in by Adams. Sidney Crosby gets in after it against Klitsum. Crosby winning the battle. The 2 Jets are there. He's trying to beat 2 guys. Now coming back to help out. Here's Hornquist shooting. And it's just wide of the goal. Bortuzzo moves up on the play. Crosby's got it now. Out to the point in Scuderi. He'll wrist it intentionally wide. And it's taken by Postma. He sends it up the wall off the stick of Byfuglien, and it'll be taken at center ice by Kunitz.
Yeah, Bortuzzo a little more ice here, playing alongside Rob Scuderi with Dupre in the box. Evander Kane as well after that scrap.
Here goes Kunitz.
Look out, Crosby got hammered.
Kunitz shoots it up over the goal. Sid's getting himself back into play now.
Lowry.
Kunitz working the end boards, and now Hornquist jams it up over there. Kunitz as well. Very physical. Kunitz and Hornquist. And so is Lowry. Adam Lowry, but the Penguins won the battle. Crosby to Letang, great save. And the stick comes flying over to the near wall. It's picked up by Dustin Byfuglien.
Well, this is highly entertaining, this game right now. Oh, Letang just got hit high by Byfuglien. Lowry tag. Oh, another clip. Byfuglien and Letang run into each other again at center.
And now it's Dupuis taking control of the puck. Dupuis ahead now to Como. Como shoots it off the stick of Enstrom. And then he runs right over Enstrom behind the goal. And then Bogosian comes after Como.
Yeah, Como's got in the initial call here is going to go against Como for a high hit on Enstrom, who's checking his chin. Bogosian's going to get another one here for dropping the gloves, I think. Might even things out, and oh my, there's bodies all over the ice here in Winnipeg. We saw Ehrhoff get launched into the boards. We saw Crosby hit by Lowry. We saw Letang get tagged twice.
And we saw Como steamroll Toby Enstrom.
Oh, man. This game has picked up. Ehrhoff launched into the wall. There's Crosby taking it from Lowry. And there's Como. Wow. Well, 23 hits for the Jets, 15 for the Penguins to this point in the hockey game. There's Byfuglien. He's got into it. Wheeler and Bortuzzo. Byfuglien's been in the middle of a few of these, as has Kane. Wow, some really good stuff. There's a spirited scrap with Kane and Simon Dupre. And that last shift, it was just bodies being trampled every area of this ice.
And it is a 5-on-4 right now. The extra penalty on the board to Downey.
Really? Okay.
Or at least his number's up there. Here's the calls. So he got a double minor, Como did. So that's why.
Interference in a rough.
Yes. Here's Byfuglien now. Enstrom with it. Enstrom turns it up top for Byfuglien. He's got a bomb out there at the point. Ladd, tight checking by Gotch prevents him from shooting the puck, and Adams clears. Right at the stick of Byfuglien. Gotch trying to get control of it, and he'll whack it up into the Jet zone. 2-1 Pittsburgh. Brandon Sutter's goal, the difference in this game here in the second period. And the Jets playing a much different style against the Penguins than the Wild did the other night. Here's Blake Wheeler down the wing. Stripped to the puck beautifully by Letang. Sutter couldn't get it out, though. Enstrom to Byfuglien. And on the right wing boards, it's Wheeler. Wheeler in the slot. And poked away from Little. Somebody's lost a stick. Dupuy's got the puck. Sutter has no stick. And he goes to the bench. The Penguins dodge that bullet as they're able to get to the puck and clear it down the ice.
It's a breakout by the Winnipeg Jets. Wheeler was carrying a lot of speed, but Letang's so good at turning from backwards to forwards. Make a play on him.
Matthew Perreault throws it out to the point. There's Byfuglien with it there. Dustin Byfuglien to the left side. A slap pass by Enstrom finds its way to the near side to Perreault. 39 seconds to go on the penalty. Cross ice pass for Enstrom. Bortuzzo gets in his face. Bortuzzo battling to get possession here. Pinballs around in the corner and racing up is Adams, but Byfuglien will get there. He wanted to turn it to the near side. It ends up going out to center, and racing to the puck ahead of Adams was Perreault. Perreault gets it to Scheifele, and he'll wind it up now for the Jets with 18 seconds to go on the penalty. Scheifele moves it left side. This is Frolik with it. Toe drag was blocked by Bortuzzo, put his body down. Perreault with it now. Up top to Byfuglien. Back to Perreault, and he can't shoot it. Spaulding got a stick in there. Now Frolik works it down low. Here's Perreault going to the front of the net, and he was poke checked by Fleury. Penalty's over. Onto the ice comes Downey. Yeah, they just couldn't get it to him. Spaulding tried. Downey to the goal. He scores! Downey got it off the bounce and backhanded it in, and now Byfuglien comes after him.
Well, Byfuglien hammered Downey after he scored. The netminder Pavlik sleeping on the stretch pass, unable to play it. That puck missed Downey, the long stretch pass, but it came right off the boards perfectly to Downey, who took it to the front of the cage and scored for Pittsburgh. And that's why you put an offensive guy in there with the double minor on Como. You put a guy that when he comes out of the box, maybe he can do some damage. So you see with teams, and Downey does not kill penalties. So he comes out of the box, he's looking for a pass, he's sniffing offense, and he got a goal. And now Sutter has calmed him down enough to congratulate him and say, hey, you got yourself a goal. And for Byfuglien, he's got himself a penalty, Staggy. He's going to go to the box, I believe. They're escorting him right now. He wanted to go to the dressing room.
And Downey now has a goal and assist in the game, giving him 14 points.
Look at this.
In 20 games against the Jets.
Great stuff by Spaulding. Look at the goaltender Pavlik asleep. And, you know, Pavlik's got to be aware here. As soon as that puck is missed, Pavlik's got to get out there and stop that puck from coming there to the stick of Downey. He doesn't. It's not an ice. because Downey is obviously the first to that puck, Staggy, so he waves off the ice, and that's just a bad mistake by not only the goaltender Pavlik, but by Byfuglien to put his team in hot water. Wow, really good stuff. The Penguins not only kill their 32nd straight, they have the wherewithal to know when a man is coming out, communicate. Somebody probably yelling to Spalling, you know, we're even. So he's looking up, tries to feed Downey, and Downey, with great hands and a great bounce, fortuitous bounce, is able to put them up 3-1. And I think Downey's going to take an even penalty here. Downey has nullified this Penguin power play that it appeared they were going to get, folks. One more look. Look at the play in front of the net. Great battle by Sutter. Spalling, Downey out of the box. So it's not going to be an icing because he gets to that dot first, wins that race. And then there's the initial penalty, the shove by Byfuglien. He points right away, the official. But then Downey comes back at him. And that's going to be that's going to even it up as I look at the time clock right now. I didn't know if Downey did enough there to justify evening it up, but referees determined he did. So he wasn't out on the ice for long, Stay. He was out on the ice for 5 seconds, got himself a goal, went back to the box. That's just penalties in 7 straight games for Downey.
And that puck went to a place in the corner and came off the corner board so conveniently for Downey. I know what you're saying about Pavlik, but even if he had attempted, I don't know where he would have been when he got to the puck. He might have been in no man's land at that point.
Chip it right back to the corner. He just wasn't aware. He has to be available to attack that puck. He's got to be smart. A smart goaltender. You know, I don't know if he was thinking it was icing or not.
Yeah, possible.
I just think he probably thought it was icing, and then it was too late. Once you hesitate,
he who hesitates,
is lost. Last loss. I was going to say last, but here we go. Look out.
Ehrhoff, Crosby joining the rush. Ehrhoff shoots it, and a blocker save by Pavlik. It popped up in the air, and the Jets end up with it. Sid was looking at that puck way up in the sky. Now here's Bogosian behind everybody, and on Fleury, big save, and Fleury freezes. He stood up to make the save on Zach Bogosian. He was looking for his first goal of the year.
Yes, a defenseman in behind on the 4-on-4. Great skating defenseman, Zach Bogosian. But Marc-Andre Fleury, he stopped that breakaway. Pavlik has been beat on 2. There he is, part of the third line thunder. Steve Downey fixing the strap on his helmet. And the third line, 9 points in the last 2 games.
Downey and Spalling played together in Kitchener with Robert Bortuzzo. And I heard a conversation today. They were talking about playing with Downey. I said, "Did you play with Downey?" To ask Spalling, and he said, Downey said, "Not too much. He wasn't good enough." Because Downey was a big star for that team. Then he was kidding, and he said, "Yeah, we played together a little bit."
Yeah, they did. Spalling had 30 points in that final in 20 games to win the Ontario Hockey League Championship.
He said Bortuzzo was kind of an offensive guy. Played on that second power play. Here's Hornquist with it now, trying to get it to Malkin, but it's broken up. Trouba banks it off the boards. Kane got a stick on it, but taken away by Hornquist to Malkin. His shot save. Oh, Hornquist was there looking for a rebound on a backhand drive, but he fanned on it, and Blake Wheeler takes off. Now it's Kane on the left wing. Centering pass, it hit the skate of Hornquist. Trouba with a blast. He scores.
Well, I know it's a tall order. You would like to hope that shot was going to be blocked by Hornquist, because once it got by him, there was no chance. Trouba walked into it. Watch 72, Hornquist. Tried to square up and block it. I don't know. Once it gets by him, Staggy, he's just a screen. And then you got Robert Bortuzzo in front. But really the screen is out high. It's the high screen by Hornquist. And went right by his shin pads. And Trouba really shot that puck hard, and the puck came from low, so Fleury wasn't out very far.
No, in fact,
to cut down the angle.
He was down on his knees as he got bumped by the two players going through, including Bortuzzo. Another chance here, kicked out by Fleury, and to the puck quickly was Dupre to work it back to center ice.
So what you thought was maybe a game saver, the Zach Bogosian save, now with the defenseman Trouba scoring, you got a really good hockey game setting up for the third period as we got a minute left here.
Here's Scheifele digging in down the right wing. Scheifele moving his hips against Scuderi, but he just takes the puck away from it. Rob Scuderi sends it up the right wing for Sutter. Over for support is Spalling. Sutter stick handling nicely. We'll drop it back to Rob Scuderi. And now to Dupre. Penguins regroup in that puck possession game. They go back to their D a lot. Here's Scuderi with it again. Moves it up ahead now to Downey, and he'll steer it up into the Jets zone. Much he could do with it there as Enstrom takes it now behind his own net. Both teams shuffle the deck. 42 seconds remaining in the period. And the crowd is alive here in Winnipeg. Here comes Byfuglien. Can't get around Letang. And then two Penguins went over to hit Byfuglien, and they got nothing but glass.
Well, look out down to Byfuglien again, Steggy.
Now the Penguins, Pascal Dupuis has the puck. Byfuglien goes to the bench. Dupuis turns and wheels it out to center to Marcel Gotch, who banks it off the boards into the Jets zone. Downey gets in on the forecheck against Stewart. Takes him out. Now Stewart and Downey engaged. Downey reached up and put a little headlock on him for a moment and goes to the bench.
Just got to
can't help
a little bit. He's got to be careful.
He can't help himself. Here's a shot by Hornquist. Out on the slot is Martin trying to fire it. And the Jets go the other way. It's a 2-on-1. Back is Hornquist, though, to break it up. Ladd tried to pass the puck to Frolik. The Penguins got players back just before the horn sounded.
Great saves. Great goals, fights, hits. This game has had a little bit of everything, and what's in store for the third, we'll wait and see.
Rob and Jay will have a lot to talk about.
Yes.
Let's go to them.
Fight, tons of hitting, a contentious 40 minutes at MTS Center in Winnipeg. If you're just joining us, here's what you've missed.
Bogosian with it now on the right side. For Little, a turning shot. He scores. Brandon Sutter goes to work against two Jets. Scheifele winning the battle. Scheifele was drafted to be a good two-way player for them. Here's Dupre shooting. He scored! Simon Dupre. I think he'll get the goal. Here's Sutter down the slot. Shoots and scores! Penalty's over. Onto the ice comes Downey. Yeah, they just couldn't get it to him. Spalling tried. Downey to the goal. He scores! Now it's Kane on the left wing. Centering pass and hit the skate of Hornquist. Trouba with a blast. He scores. Well, the other night we talked about how the Wild played a careful game against the Penguins, seemed to be reluctant to get engaged in a physical game because they didn't want to take penalties and have to face the Penguins' power play. Jets don't seem to be as fazed by that as the Wild were.
No, I think they're pretty confident in their penalty killing. They came in fourth in the National Hockey League. They've killed 3 Penguin power plays here tonight, including a 5-on-3 against them. So if you're going to take those penalties or play to that edge, play to that line, play with that edge, you better be able to kill those penalties.
Evgeny Malkin has scored a point in every game this year. All 11, and still looking for one here tonight. The Penguins ahead, though, in this game, 3-2 going to the third period. You see the details on that Malkin streak.
Well, we'll see if the Penguins need another goal in this hockey game.
Mario, 28 games.
It's just, anywhere else, you might have the record.
That was also the same year the Penguins had a power play that still ranks #1 in percentage. You saw Tocchet once again telling the big boy to calm down a little bit, Steve Downey.
Well,
give him a little, that's why he's there. I mean, I think Dick Tocchet recommended that the Penguins get Steve Downey, and he knew that he could get the most out of him.
He's putting up numbers. He's got 2 points again here tonight.
You know, Dickie Tocchet, as we like to call him, loves this kind of hockey.
He does. And even Dvorsky's telling him right now, just calm down, just calm down. Penalties in 7 straight games. Downey talking to Dvorsky. Paul Dvorsky. He's been reffing a long time. A lot longer than Steve Downey's been playing. And they added an assist on the Sutter goal to Robert Bortuzzo, Staggy. So give Bortuzzo his first point.
So we start the third period with the Penguins up by 1. And the Jets, Stewart under pressure to start it. Nice hit by Downey there as he nailed Trouba. And Downey really making his presence felt. But here is Lowry with it now. He shoots it off the stick of Bortuzzo and up into the netting in the corner. On a special Inside Pirates baseball, see how John Holtzcombe's career rocketed straight into the center of a Major League playoff chase. You can follow his groundbreaking trail of persistence, belief, and a dash of luck on Inside Pirates Baseball, Holtzcombe Onto a Dream, tomorrow at 6:30, right here on Root Sports.
Steve Downey can't help himself, so he's in the box. And he's going to not go alone. Byfuglien is going to go to the box with him. At the end of the play, the two went into the corner. Byfuglien tapped him, and that's what happened. And the Winnipeg Jets, you know, they're not dumb. They're trying to get into the kitchen of Downey and see if he can handle it right now. And that's where you just got to realize those kind of things and just kind of move away. But no power plays. The both of them go off, and it's not bad if you get Byfuglien off the ice. That's not a bad trade-off.
Referees Paul Dvorsky and Trevor Hansen have had their hands full with Steve Downey tonight.
The penalties to Pittsburgh, number 23, Steve Downey, and number 33, Dustin Byfuglien.
There's a chance now for a leak centered. Right there was Letang to pick off the centering pass.
Pittsburgh and Downey and Winnipeg and Byfuglien each need 10-minute.
Great stuff
They each got 10-minute misconduct penalties.
Oh, man.
So that's a big loss, I think, for the Jets to lose Byfuglien for 10 minutes.
I agree.
Now here's Kunis. Not that Downey hasn't been an effective player too, but I think it's a pretty good trade-off. Here's a Crosby with it now, wheeling out of the corner, trying to make a power move on the backhand, but it was taken by Bogosian. He's hit by Kunitz after lifting the puck out to center, and Paul Martin has it there for the Penguins. Now for Crosby. Look out, Crosby giving it to Scheifele. Fleury had to make a save. Sid with a blind pass.
Right under the stick and right off the head of Marc-Andre Fleury. The shot.
No, that was a lucky break there. Now the puck is whacked by Dupuis up into the Jet zone, and Trouba's going to go back and play it. Trouba gets his feet moving. And Como stays right with him and takes the puck away from him, and Malkin goes the other way. Malkin shoots it, and a save by Pavlik. Rebound Dupuis. Pavlik reaches up and grabs it with a glove.
Couple of close calls already to start this third period against Pittsburgh, but good defensive play on one. This one was not a good offensive play. It was a defensive drop pass, blind, and there's the defensive play by Letang. Watch Fleury. Watch the tap. There you go. Nice little play there, Chris, he said. Good stuff.
Lowry, Perreault, and Thorburn on the ice for the Jets here in the defensive zone faceoff, and they win the faceoff. Lowry won it. Well, Lowry looks like he's got a nice career ahead of him, following his daddy's footsteps, and he shoots the puck here, but it's blocked. It's a big hit on the near boards by Lowry. He sent Como flying. Malkin over the line to Dupuis, and a save by Pavlik. Trouba to the rebound.
Now Lowry, swift current Broncos. That Lowry, he's a big kid.
He's huge, and he's effective. 6'5", 207.
Might as well use your
Here's
size.
Perreault out of the corner. Perreault looks for Postma, but right there in his face was Sill. Perreault gets it back, though, in the corner. Perreault behind the net for Lowry. Over now to Thorburn, and up top to Klitzum. And Postma with a wrist shot. That's flagged down in front. Malkin looks for the puck. Lowry chops it to the corner, and I think he hit Malkin with a stick as he tried to do it. Malkin's hurt.
Well, the puck went up in the air, and I saw Lowry face to face with Malkin. Both their sticks went up, and I might have been Rob Scuderi's stick from behind, guys.
Yep. And that's what it looks like in the replay I'm looking at in our ISO screen. Here's a shot wide off a leg by Gotch. It comes to Bortuzzo behind the net. Enstrom chopped at it. Frolik's going to pick it up now for the Jets. Ladd can't take the left wing pass. Ehrhoff stands in front of him so Bortuzzo can handle the puck. Reversed it for Ehrhoff. He's got to go get it in the corner. Here comes Frolik. Frolik bumps Ehrhoff and takes the puck. Now to the corner for Ladd. Frolik goes to the front of the net. Ladd holds it for Little, a shot. And again, Adams right there. And a big save by Fleury on Frolik as it trickled right to his stick.
Right out of the blue, that chance came right to the stick of Frolik after a good stick on puck by Penguins Gotch. Marc-Andre Fleury there to save the day again.
Up the wing it comes. It's Wheeler, and he's offside on himself.
Well, a lot going on in the Penguin zone. A turnover. Malkin got clipped by a stick. I believe it was Rob Scuderi's from the backside as he was engaged with Lowry right by the face-off dot. Let's take a look. Yeah, it's a stick from behind. It is Rob Scuderi's stick. He knew right away that he had clipped Malkin. He took a look, but he had to continue on, and Malkin went down. Well, if he just got it on the visor. Face looks okay.
Martin steps up, moves it along, and the shot by Hornqvist was blocked. Wheeler, Kane, in on goal, score!
Well, the shot was blocked, and Paul Martin was standing still. He decided that he was going to pinch up instead of retreating. And when he did that, it was a 50-50 proposition. There's Martin with the pinch. He wasn't able to stop Wheeler's pass. They get him behind Letang, and that speed of Kane is like anybody else's speed on this Winnipeg Jet team. And that was the difference. Normally Letang may have been able to track back on a player, but not one with the speed of Evander Kane. And Evander Kane has tied this game at 3. And one of the
first of the season.
One of the better games we've seen this year, Staggy, in terms of physicality, desire, grit, energy by both hockey teams. And these goaltenders, now is their time. Marc-Andre Fleury made a couple of 10-bell saves there at the start of that second period and third period.
Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, I look forward to Miller time later in the game. Brought to you by Miller Lite. Still a lot of good stuff to come, you would think. 15:49 remaining here in the third period. The Penguins look to retake the lead. The Penguins have not trailed going to the third period in any game this year. The only team in the league in that category. They took a 3-2 lead to the third period, but the Jets have answered with Evander Kane finally delivering his first goal of the year. And you've got a good idea of why he is a player that they will be counting on to score goals.
Yeah, and now the Penguins are going to have to count on Zach Sill. Different bodies. Downey's in the box for 10 minutes. The third line has been the best line in this hockey game and in Minnesota. Unavailable is Steve Downey for the next 7 minutes, so they're going to have to find replacements on the third line.
They've got Sill out there now, and here's Scuderi shooting one. Spalling behind the net. Sutter shot it off the side of the goal. Spalling battling for the puck. So is Sutter. Sutter cross-checks Perreault in the back, and no penalty. Perreault looked over to the referee. Now it is the Jets on the attack, and it's Perreault with it. Lowry heads to the net. Perreault to Lowry, and his shot off the heel of his stick. He shanked it. It's a good thing because he was in good position. Now the Penguins trying to get it out. Sill runs right over Chris Thorburn, and then he takes a hit right in front of the Penguins bench from Lowry, and he continues to throw his weight around. And now it's taken by Stewart.
Scuderi just knocked down Perreault away from the... Oh, now they're going to send 2 players off. Perreault's going to... Oh, Dvorsky's going to take Perreault as well, as he and Scuderi got into it. And it's nasty all over the ice, away from the puck especially, Staggy. And Dvorsky wants to take charge of this right now before it gets out of hand. Boy, everybody is standing behind the Penguins bench right now.
And the fans are really into the game now. Why not? It's a heck of a hockey game.
Evander Kane has the Gordie Howe hat trick tonight. Goal, assist, and fight. And let's take a look at on the blue line. This happened in front.
Thorburn took a shot at Spalling, it looked like, from behind with his forearm, right forearm.
There's the cross check by Scuderi, and there's the whack back by Perreault when he was on the ice. So those two escorted to the penalty box. And did Downey go to the dressing room? He just was escorted off to the dressing room.
He has a 10-minute misconduct.
Well, he's not in the penalty box now. He's gone to the room, apparently.
And Bortuzzo moves it along now for Christian Ehrhoff. Ehrhoff will shoot it right to the net. Havlik moves it to the corner, and Ehrhoff goes there to get it. Penguin defenseman in deep. Bortuzzo, the lone man back. Hornqvist coming back to try to help out, and he's able to get around Ladd to get to the puck. And he leaves it there for Ehrhoff, who gave it away not a little. Little to Trouba, one-timer. Oh, a blast went wide of the goal. There was traffic in front again. Boy, Ladd just goes right to the front of the net. He stands there in the paint. Now this is Malkin coming back. Gino, a guy who could break it quickly with a great play himself. He shoots it to the net. Wheeler got in his face. And Pavlik held the puck for a face-off. Penguins send Kunitz onto the ice and Crosby. Gino's going to head to the bench. Everybody taking a little shot in there after the whistle here.
Yep, 4-on-4 goals. You don't see them that often in overtime, primarily, but there was one in the hockey game. The Trouba goal was a 4-on-4 goal tonight.
Tobias Enstrom with it now for Winnipeg. Enstrom. Scheifele, pressured by Kunitz. Finds Bogosian. He's a good skater, but Bogosian will use the net as his ally here as the Jets want to start it up. 4-on-4 hockey. Wheeler on his off wing. Turns the corner with speed. Crosby there. He wanted to take it north, but it just came off his stick, and Bogosian headmans quickly. Scheifele left it for Wheeler. Wheeler can't get to the front of the net as Martin cut him off. Letang over to play the puck. Sends it up the wall, and Como can't take the pass this time.
Wheeler's got the right name tonight. He is wheeling all over the ice. Absolutely flying.
Frolik had it taken away by Dupre, who lost it to Kane. Now Como hit it, but it went right to Frolik. Trouba trying to drive to the net. Dupre stands up on him. Those two tangle, and the Penguins counter. It's Sutter with it now. Sutter shoots it long. Blocker save by Pavlik. He distributes it to the wall where Frolik plays it. Now Como's going to get to the puck. Ehrhoff wants it, but Como's going to send it back down deep. Penalties are over. 5-on-5 now. Dupre to the corner, works it in behind the net. Spalling there. Stewart got there first. Dupre centers. Couldn't get it in front of the net, but Como hustles to the puck. Spalling's in the slot. Como to Ehrhoff. Onto the ice came Gotch. Dupre takes the pass from Ehrhoff and dumps it to the corner. Behind the net now to Spalling. Trying to get it in front to Como. It's broken up, and the Jets take it the other way. It's Kane again down the left wing. He's got Lowry driving to the net. Kane turns the corner, wrap around. Oh my goodness. He almost put that in, but it went off the goalpost. And Fleury lost his goal stick, and he was able to grab the puck. It sounded like it hit the post.
Well, he's got great speed. He couldn't turn the corner. He got the right leg out, so he decided to go behind on the wraparound, and I thought he had it.
Well,
what a save by Fleury. Fleury had to lose his stick to make it. Well, Evander Kane can fly. He's got the wheels. He was going to cut it in. Look at the right leg, the wide stance. And now with the shallower nets, that puck got underneath the right pad of Marc-Andre Fleury. As he goes around, look at the great speed. The shallow net allows him to kind of cut in tighter. And it goes off the right pad. Doesn't go over the goal line. Stays underneath Marc-Andre Fleury, who lost his stick with Simon Dupre, who was trying to defend Kane.
Here goes Adams to center ice. Dumps it behind Klitzum. Takes his own bank pass. Try to get it to the net. Klitzum got a stick on it. Now Dupuis and Adams go in there. Adams able to work it to the corner. Pinching down is Bortuzzo. Dupuis covers for him, but the Jets get a break here. It's Thorburn with Lowry. Ehrhoff is back. It's Postma. Again, that's the second time tonight he shot a puck 10 feet wide of the net. Here's Perreault with it. Cross for Postma. Wrist shot this time, and he missed a goal. Over to the corner.
Stick there.
Klitzum with it. And the Penguins able to get it back to center. Jets with 4 shots in this period. Penguins with 6. Penguins have had a couple of long shots on Pavlik in this period. Game tied at 3 with 11:29 to go. Crosby's open here. He shoots it quickly. Got rid of it in a hurry with Enstrom closing in on him. And the blocker save made by Pavlik. The puck stayed in play. Hornquist went down. And Enstrom takes off to the right wing and Frolik. Back for Enstrom coming to the net. And he lost control of it. It wandered off his stick before he could shoot it. And he was in good scoring position there. Here's Ladd with it in the corner. Martin steps in front of him. Crosby helping out deep. Up the wall now for Kunitz. He tried to bank it ahead of Hornquist. Held in by Bogosian. Now to Martin. Martin skates away from Frolik. Up the wall for Kunitz. Into the middle now. Crosby barrels his way through center ice. Crosby tried to go to Hornquist. He's got it. Trying to stick handle into the slot. He was tied up by Little. And Toby Enstrom has the puck. Edstrom ahead now to Kane. Evander Kane, nice drop pass for Wheeler. Wheeler confronted by Sill. He was tripped up, no penalty. Puck behind the net. Wheeler just looked like he lost his balance there. Sill came back to check it. Now Stewart sends it in behind where Dupre has it for Pittsburgh.
Sill did lose his stick though, Staggy, on that play.
Nice play by Sill there to get the puck to Letang. And he finds Malkin at center ice. Malkin down the right wing, looks back. Quick shot by Como, and then Sill ran right into the goaltender. He's going to get a penalty.
Yeah, they're going after him right now.
And Trouba instigates a fight with Sill.
Yeah, he's probably going to get the extra deuce here.
You would think so. Sill trying to come back at him, but Sill just went to the net hard, and Pavlik was kind of telescoping out. He collided with a goaltender. He's going to get a penalty for that. I thought that Pavlik did come way out. He wasn't out of the paint, but he came out towards him.
Yeah, and it's Zach Sill.
Yeah,
you know, he didn't try to avoid him by any means.
No, I'm not saying.
No, I know. I'm just saying what I saw.
Yeah.
And I think it's a wise call.
Yeah.
You know, and I think a goaltender he needs to protect himself in that situation. We saw Simon Dupre drop his gloves. Remember in this game when Fleury was hit, and here we see Trouba drop his gloves with Zach Sill, who's a tough customer. And I would imagine they may even it up there. Trouba just went right at Zach Sill, so I'm not thinking there's going to be a power play here. And I do want to mention, just tag that Steve Downey's out of the game. He did receive another misconduct when Scuderi went to the box with Perreault. Something happened. He got another 10 minutes conduct at 4:58 of the third period. He was ejected from the hockey game at that point, and 20 seconds is when Byfuglien and Downey initially went into the box. 20 seconds of this period, a 10-minute misconduct. So we're going to see Byfuglien here, Staggy, very shortly in about 25 seconds. He'll be back, able to come off out of the penalty box at the first whistle.
And Trouba's in there. Thorburns going to go in and obviously serve an extra.
Yeah, there's an extra here. So as soon as we get the penalties, we'll let you know. So it's a Penguin power play.
And the Penguins can't win the draw. It's Bogosian with it, and he sends it down the ice. Penguins looking for their first power play goal of the hockey game. They're 0 for 3 on the UPMC Sports Medicine power play. A chance to retake the lead as Trouba probably should have kept himself under control there. He cost his team perhaps what could be a big goal in this game. Here's Hornquist with it.
Well, they were going to have the power play. Now the Penguins do.
That's right. Here's Letang with it now. Over to Malkin, a drive, and Pavlik able to corral that and hold on to it. Don't forget, our McDonald's High School football playoff coverage continues in the quarterfinals as Woodland Hills plays Central Catholic in a rematch of last year's Quad A championship game live tomorrow at 7:30 on Root Sports. Central Catholic won the title by defeating Woodland Hills 27-7 last year. Big rematch coming up on Root Sports.
So Trouba got an additional rough. He got 4 minutes, Staggy, for roughing, and then you only have the one penalty to Sill, so for interference on the goalie, so the Penguins get the power play.
Letang to Crosby, down low to Kunitz. Malkin sneaking around there on the left side as the shot by Letang misses the net. And Malkin over to the puck. Hard around for Crosby, who let it go through for Kunitz. Chris Kunitz whacked by Kane. Finds Crosby on the goal line. Back for Kunitz, cut into the net. And he didn't connect. And Kane able to turn the puck back down the ice. And the thing about Kane is, he's an offensive guy killing the penalty. And I don't know how much longer he's going to stay out here, but he's a dangerous penalty killer. Here's Letang dropping it off to Sidney Crosby. Stick handling around Kane. Now to Malkin. He's open. Malkin rips it to the net, and he missed the goal. Kunitz to the puck. Sends it back around for Sidney Crosby. 49 seconds to go on the penalty. Gino with it. Centers now. Letang shoots it off the goalpost. He may have hit a stick or a skate on the way through. Sidney Crosby was in front. Now Letang goes back for the puck. We're down to 35 seconds. Penguins change power play specialists. Letang tried to wheel it to Dupuis, and it's going to be cleared by Ladd, but cut off at center ice nicely by Malkin. Malkin and Ladd got tangled up. Now Little skates to the puck, and he lost it. Crosby gave it away. Ladd has it. Can't get around Ehrhoff. Gotch drops it back to Ehrhoff. 10 seconds to go on the Penguin power play. Gotch with Stewart stepping right up on him. He didn't know he was coming. And Paul Martin's got it now.
You know the team's feeding off the crowd right now. The crowd really into this hockey game in Winnipeg, and they really have an effect on this power play for the Penguins.
Perreault hooking and tangling up Ehrhoff, but Ehrhoff had the presence to retain possession of the puck. And now it's Thorburn going to work in the corner. Centers for Perreault. Dupuy's on him, and a centering pass. The Penguins have it. Paul Martin gets his feet moving. Gains the red line and dumps it in. Brandon Sutter gets in after it against Blitzham. 7:50 to go in this game. Como sends it around. And Dupre let it go through for Adams. Adams on the wall, sends it towards the net. And now Adams steps up and runs right over Blitzham. Another big hit on the near boards by Lowry, who takes another whack at Adams, and those two are going to go at it.
Yep.
Adams and Lowry.
Referees they're going to jump in if they can. They've been instructed to do so if these guys wait too long.
Lowry much bigger than Adams. He's 6'5", firing right hands. He's got that long reach. He can hold him way out at the end of his left hand and fire rights.
Yeah, there's the tail of the tape right up top. And Adams just trying to hang on here. Lowry's been physical from the get-go, but that was a big hit by Adams. A big hit by Adams down low. When the going gets tough, the tough gets going, and Adams in his 300th straight game in the National Hockey League, just unloading.
The Subway sandwiches many of the game in this one.
Yep, Big Buff engaged early. He's back on the ice after serving 10 minutes. And then we saw Ehrhoff launched into the wall. Lowry's been visible this whole game. Como ran over Enstrom. And then the final one here. 300 straight games, and Craig Adams has played them all the same way. Tough and rumble, and the first game after the All-Star break, Staggy, on January 27th. These two teams will meet again.
Well, the Penguins tonight 0 for 4 on their league-leading power play, and the Jets have done the job. They played a physical brand of hockey and have been able to keep the Penguins from making them pay the price. But here goes Malkin. Malkin against Postma, cuts inside on him. Surrounded by blue jerseys, he finds Dupuis. Dupuis tried to center and off the stick of Malkin, and the Jets quickly counterattack. And Kane, with Bortuzzo stepping up on him, still able to get the puck to where Scheifele could play it. Scheifele drops it off. Wheeler in front. Kane's there. Fleury got a piece of it, and Kane couldn't find the rebound. Dupuis goes the other way for the Penguins. Banks it off the boards. And Paul Postma goes back in to get it. Taken now by Kunitz as he forces it in behind the net. Now it is Scheifele with it. Ahead to Ladd. Ladd's shot hit Letang. And offside is the call, as we'll get a face-off in the neutral zone with 6:34 remaining in regulation time. Jets now have 30 shots on the board. The Penguins with 29.
You really got to be aware when Evander Kane is on the ice right now. He's got game-breaking speed. We know who has the game-breaking abilities on the Penguins side, and they're on the ice. One of them right now in Sidney Crosby. Evgeny Malkin had a chance on the last shift, but now's the time for the big boys to play and come and shine in a 3-3 hockey game, a very physical affair.
Crosby trying to get to the puck through Enstrom. Hornquist follows on, couldn't play it. Now he picks up his stick and struggles to get back into the play as the Jets come to center. Good gap there for Letang on Frolik, who dumps it hard around. Fleury can't stop it. Ladd over to play it. It came through for Little. He's bumped by Crosby. Frolik with it. And now it's Kunitz taking a hold of it. Crosby over to help out, and it comes all the way back into the Jets zone. Toby Enstrom back to get it now for Winnipeg, and Hornquist chasing him. Leaves it for Bogosian. Penguins in their system now, trying to prevent the Jets from getting through center. They're going to go back and set it up. Blitzham brings it ahead. Boy, they had a man cutting through TJ Gagliardi, trying to sneak him in behind the defense, but the play is stopped as the puck went out of play. We'll see what happens in the last 5:42.
Well, don't let the pink stick fool you. They call him Big Buff. He's mean. He's grizzly. And he was sitting in the penalty box for 10 minutes to start the third period. He's rested. This man, Blake Como, loves to hit. Very physical player. Has made roadkill out of a few Jets here in this hockey game. He takes the place of Steve Downey. who's been relegated to the dressing room. A couple of misconduct penalties here. Como on the third line.
Como has the puck. Moves it back now to Rob Scuderi. Over to Simon Dupre. Quick pass up. That's going to be icing here against Pittsburgh. Although Spalling's going to get there first. It was going to be icing, but Spalling got there. Now it's Perreault coming back. In the middle for Gagliardi. TJ Gagliardi after the puck. He's out of Dartmouth College. He played there with Lovejoy and Tanner Glass and Lee Stempniak. Pretty good group of hockey players at Dartmouth. He said, we never won anything. I don't know how that happened. We had a lot of good players. There's Fleury behind the net, moving it along for Dupre.
Had a bad goalie. Look at that, bad bounce
giveaway
again.
there. Trouba shoots it, saved by Fleury. And the rebound, Hornquist turns it out to center to Kunitz. He looked into the middle. We got a penalty coming up here.
It's going to be a cross check against the Jets. Perreault can't believe it. He's going to the box again. With 4:53 left in a tie hockey game, he takes a penalty in the offensive zone. And Paul Maurice just cannot believe it. That Zamboni door over there has kicked out a few bad bounces here. This one kicks out right to the Jets. And a cross check in front right here against Simon Dupre, knocks him into the netminder. And Perreault, oh man, that's the worst feeling in the world, being in the seat of Matthew Perreault right now. Sitting in that penalty box, and your team has worked so hard, played so hard here to try to get a point. Now the #1 power play in the National Hockey League is out against you, and Perreault just he can't watch.
And it's the bad penalties that often get you. Here's Hornquist with it now. Hornquist looks for Crosby. They're right on Crosby. Slater right there in his face. Crosby moves it back to Letang. Letang nicely able to keep it in for Sid. Look at him come right after Crosby. No time at all. Right in his face. Yeah. And Slater whacks Letang on the hands. Letang holds his stick. Got to be careful not to take a penalty. And they let him get away with it. Now Letang headmans the puck. Malkin just throws it right across the ice. Where Sidney Crosby rattles it around the glass. Penguins crash in there to get possession. Kunitz here on the near side. Nobody backing him up. It's going to be cleared by Stewart down the ice. They're not giving the Penguins any time to work on their power play at all.
No. Why would you? If you do, they're going to make you pay at a rate of 42%. So they've taken away that time. Every opportunity.
Now Crosby's open here, though, and he tried to go across. It'll hit something in the line. It'll go down goal. And Pavlik somehow kept it out. That pinball right to the net, and he almost had it go by him.
Oh. Very fortunate, very athletic. Two bounces as that puck changes direction, not once but twice on the way to the net. Crosby once, twice, and somehow, some way, I think because he's deep in his net, he's able to react at the last second, make a spectacular save with the right pad. Pavlik to keep this a 3-3 hockey game, and for Perreault, another life.
Sutter will take the face-off here with 1:02 remaining on the penalty. Lots of time. Penguins' second power play unit is on. Sutter wins the draw. He wanted to go to Dupuis, who cut in trying to help out there, and the puck went right by him. So the Penguins have to regroup.
Gotch gets a chance on the second power play with Downey out of the hockey game.
Gotch has it now, and he's now finds himself in a battle on the wall. The Penguins come out of there with it. Ehrhoff just dumps it to the corner.
Penguins have already used their timeout. If they still had it as that puck goes into the Jets bench, they would have used it right there. They used it earlier when they got a 5-on-3 in the second period of play. They didn't have the chance to rest the Crosby unit, but just that little break, Mike Johnson goes right back. Rick Tocchet right back with Crosby, Hornquist, and Kunitz, Letang, and Malkin.
Well, the Penguins' power play has been winning them a lot of games this year, and this is a real golden opportunity to really make a big difference in this one. And a big face-off win there for Crosby. Malkin to Sid. Sid holds it, shoots it off the outside of the post. Kunitz, Crosby, Hornquist. Nice reception of that pass. Out to Malkin. Malkin to Sid. Crosby on the left side of the ice now. Works it down low for Kunitz. Hornquist gets in there to make sure the puck stays with the Penguins. They come after him, too. Hornquist wheels it around for Sid on the near side. Now he's on the right side of the ice. He's hit hard again. No time. Letang with it on the right point. 12 seconds to go, and the puck skips up into the netting on the near side.
So they've, for lack of a better term, given Crosby no respect here on this power play. Tried to take him and his time away. They've done a tremendous job at that. When Crosby, when they see his numbers, the 8 and the 7 in his name, they're going to attack. They're going to attack. If they look at his face, maybe not. Crosby on the left side of the ice, as you described, Staggy. This one hit the outside of the post. Kunitz right in front of Pavlik. Couldn't see a thing. So if that one was able to find the inside of the post.
Another face-off win for Sutter, and a blast by Bortuzzo misses the target. Down to 3 seconds to go on the penalty, and the Winnipeg Jets are going to kill all 5 Penguin power plays here this evening. And that is a major accomplishment. Here is Como now. And the game is tied at 3, so the Penguins fail to get the go-ahead goal on the man advantage. Closest they came was Crosby hitting the outside of the post. Here's Sutter now working at the side of the net. And Alex Enstrom was Spalling trying to reach around him. He's going to get a penalty for that.
You knew something was coming. You had to know it was coming. You just had to know it. And Paul Dvorsky is going to ring the Penguins up here. And it'll be a hook with only 2:30 left in this third period of play. Spalling trying not to take a penalty. He's coming from underneath. Apparently enough. As well, we just saw penalty calling as Perreault one end, and now the Penguins penalty killers, who have been, well, spectacular to say the least, Staggy. They are on a streak right now. They're talking about it. Gotch and Adams will start things off up front with Letang and Martin. Letang and Martin get a lot more ice time. Only Mata out of the lineup.
32 straight for the Penguins. Let's see if they can make it 33. Back to the corner goes Adams. Big part of that penalty killing success. Now Gotch trying to get it out. Martin had it on his stick, but Perreault takes it. Boy, he got saved by the penalty killing of his teammates. Now in front of the net, comes through. Little set it up, and Ladd takes it. Back behind for Little. And it ends up at the side of the cage where Fleury's able to freeze it. 31 shots apiece in this game. The Penguins are 19-3 in their last 22 games against the Jets franchise. But they're 3-2 in their last 5 here.
Well, somebody's going to have to show some courage and stand in the way of the big shot of Byfuglien. If he's back at the point, he has any room at all. You want to take away his room. You want to get on top of him. You don't want to be far away from him as that puck comes across. Ooh, not yet to him.
Little shoots it. Save. Rebound. Duff the Beer. Fleury kept it out of Byfuglien again. And he and Perreault teamed up to push it just wide of the net. Perreault to Byfuglien again. Enstrom there. Enstrom moves up. Ladd's in front of the net again. Toby Enstrom. They're moving people around now on this power play. Little takes it on the half wall again. Byfuglien's open on that right side. Here he is, teeing it up and letting it go. And Fleury reached around Ladd and gloved it on a wrist shot, or kind of a half slapper, or snapper, if you will, from Byfuglien. He didn't take the big bomb.
Take a look at this, Staggy. Byfuglien goes down to the front of the net. It's going to go by him. In behind, Perreault's going to get a whack at it. Look at the save by Marc-Andre Fleury on his stomach, keeping the glove and the arm above his left pad. Right there, it squeezed through, but it went out the other side, and horseshoes everywhere in Winnipeg for Marc-Andre Fleury. What a save.
Wow.
Oh, man, these goaltenders. What about Pavlik made that save on the pinballing shot, the shot passed by Crosby, and then you got Fleury at this end.
49 seconds to work with. Much of the remaining time in regulation for the Jets with a man advantage. And the Jets hoping to get the go-ahead goal and leave little time left for the Penguins to get it back. Here's Wheeler down the wing. Last minute of play. Byfuglien at the right point. Enstrom with a puck. Throws it off the skate of Scuderi. Penguins desperately trying to get a hold of the puck. They can't. Enstrom with it. Fakes the shot. Scheifele with it. Down low. Wheeler centered it. With Byfuglien going to the net, and he went right by him. Now it's Kane to Scheifele. 11 seconds on the penalty. Centering pass comes through for Scheifele. Wheeler's down along the goal line. Scheifele to Wheeler. They change places. Up top, Byfuglien to the right side. Enstrom trying to throw it across. Spalling's back on the ice. Penguins back at full strength. 21 seconds to go in regulation. Enstrom holds it. Centers it. Taken away now and carried by Marcel Gotch. He'll turn back in his own zone as the Jets have to change up. And Gotch leaves it there as time will tick away here in regulation. 4 seconds to go. Letang ahead to Kunitz. Crosby wanted to take one more crack at it, but time ran out. So a 3-3 score after 60 minutes of play. 35 shots for the Jets, 31 for the Penguins.
We're going to have a dry scrape. It'll take some time with the two Zambonis. Clean that ice for the 5-minute 4-on-4.
We've got 70% of the best brands.
And 100% of the best prices because we'll beat anybody's price.
Because we're driven to be better.
And that's why everybody comes to Barrel.
We've got 70% of the best brands.
And 100% of the best prices because we'll beat anybody's price.
Because we're driven to be better.
And that's why everybody comes to Barrel.
Tonight, In the Room returns, and you'll follow new head coach Mike Johnston through his first day of training camp.
We really want to build the chemistry of this group. We want the guys to get to know each other.
Let's go in the middle, back to Cap. Cap, you're up and across.
Plus, hear Brandon Sutter mic'd up during a preseason game against Columbus and much more.
Nice shot, kid.
In the Room, tonight after postgame on Root Sports.
Well, there's two Zambonis, dry scrape. That means they're not putting any water on the ice, so you don't have to worry about the water drying. But you're taking all the snow up. You're picking up all the snow off the ice. You're hoping for a quicker end to overtimes with a flat puck. Teams will switch ends prior to the start of overtime in this regular season. So we're going to have about a 4.5-minute stoppage here. Rule 84 says as we start, we'll start the overtime. Switching ends, Staggy. It's tough on the changes. You know, if you're making a change, you got to go all the way, especially the defenseman, all the way to the other side of that red line to make that change. And that's where teams can turn it. Turn the puck quick the other way. Transition is huge here.
And of course, it's a lot of fun always when it's 4-on-4. So. And a lot of good players on the ice for this 4-on-4 who are very determined to try to get that extra point. Well, the Penguins allowed the first goal in this hockey game. Only the third time this season that has happened. Andrew Ladd, the man who got it at 9:36. And then Simon Dupre answered that in 11:16 of the first to tie it. Brandon Sutter and Steve Downey scoring for Pittsburgh before Jacob Trouba done one home for Winnipeg to make it 3-2, and then Evander Kane on a breakaway scoring at 3:55 of the third to tie the game at 3. And you are watching the Barrel.com overtime.
Well, these 4-on-4 situations, you always look to the defense as the game breakers. So if you carry your speed through the neutral zone and you have a team on the ropes coming back, you look for your defensemen to join those rushes, make the 2-on-2s, 3-on-2s. The transition is the whole key to the 4-on-4s. You're patient until you make a great defensive play, then you turn it the other way when the other team has lost their patience a little bit.
And is it man-on-man? Is it a man-on-man coverage in the 4-on-4?
You can play it either way, man-on-man or a box like you're killing a penalty in your own zone. So whatever the configuration would be. Even a 5-on-5, some teams play more of a zone type thing as opposed to man-on-man. Kunitz and Bogosian in discussion right now at center ice before they drop this puck.
You have to be careful not to get caught out there too long, Bob, with those long changes.
Oh, you have to. You have to make sure you're protecting that puck. And if you need a change, you see a lot of teams now, they'll bring it back behind their own net and get a change just like that.
Penguins 0-1 in overtime. They lost to the Detroit Red Wings, you'll remember. The Jets are 2-1. 2 of their 3 overtime games have gone to shootouts. They're 1-1 in the shootout. So let's see if one of these two teams can win it before the shootout, which the Penguins have not even had yet this year. Here is Toby Enstrom wheeling it across the rink, and it's going to be taken there by Paul Martin. So Fleury's in the goal to our right. Pavlik in the goal to our left here in overtime. And here's Crosby busting in. Crosby surrounded by blue jerseys.
And that's where you turn it the other way. And then Ladd tried to take that headman pass by Byfuglien.
Here's Byfuglien with it now. Byfuglien works it down the wall. Crosby wants the puck. Toby Enstrom got a stick on it. Sid chasing him, trying to maybe take it away from him. Enstrom able to protect it all the way to the wall. Sid doggedly trying to steal it. And now Kunitz follows on. Crosby ends up with a puck. Man open is Bortuzzo. Crosby shot it. Instead, as Bortuzzo was cutting to the net, and now he's trapped a little bit. Ehrhoff, the lone man back.
Great job by Ehrhoff. Great skating and good stick.
And here comes Malkin the other way. Malkin trying to drive to the net. Bortuzzo there again. But it's going to be Byfuglien.
Byfuglien's dead tired.
Now it's Ehrhoff and Bortuzzo getting back as Wheeler carries into the attacking zone. Wheeler looks back. Fresh man off the bench. It's Trouba shooting. Oh, and Fleury kicked it out. It took him a long time to pull the trigger there. Malkin comes the other way. Malkin looks back and leaves it for Christian Ehrhoff. Shoots it. Save made.
Oh boy, Ehrhoff with a great play defensively, and then Trouba with a chance opportunity, and he just put the handcuffs on himself. He was looking for a pass, he was looking for a shot, and he really didn't get anything against Marc-Andre Fleury. Great stuff defensively for Ehrhoff, and look at that, 13 game-winning goals for defensemen. He's right up top with Drew Doughty. Maybe he's the man.
Jacob Trouba is the man with the puck right now. The Frolik dumps it to the corner. Scuderi and Scheifele go back. Scheifele cuts around Scuderi, who stays with him. Scuderi defending against Scheifele, pushes him right into the boards. Gets the puck and finds Dupre, who springs Sutter up the right wing, and shot kicked out. And the Jets go the other way. It's Scheifele with Scuderi and Dupre back. Scheifele looks back and thought he had a trailer. He didn't, but now he does. He hands it off to Toby Enstrom. Enstrom leaves it. Trouba shoots it. It was blocked by Spalling, and Scuderi's got the puck. And now for Dupre. Spalling heads to the bench. Sutter with it. And can't do anything with it there. And now Byfuglien tips it into the Penguin zone, and Paul Martin goes back to get it.
Penguins almost caught on a change. Those defense were late getting out there.
Here comes Paul Martin right up the middle. He's going to dump it into the corner and get in after it himself. Now he peels back as Toby Enstrom sends it up the wall for Andrew Ladd. 2.5 minutes to go in this overtime period. Ladd reaches for the puck. Swooping in nicely, shooting it, blocked by the Tang. Crosby takes it. Headman's to Kunitz. Here comes Kunitz over the line with Crosby. Crosby goes to the net. Kunitz shoots, and a save by Pavlik. And he made sure he froze that puck with Crosby swooping in, and Crosby went right in behind him through the paint.
You see the transition. Turnover one way, bang, the other team comes hard the other way. And a really good job by Spalling on one of the shifts to take Trouba right. But there's the turnover. Penguins trying to go hard the other way. Letang did join this to make it a late 3-on-2, but Kunitz deciding to just go wisely to the net with it.
Here's Trouba off the draw for Bogosian. Ehrhoff's going to come over and play it. Actually, Hornquist got there first. To Bortuzzo, a shot. That hit the leg of Scheifele, and a sharp angle shot by Malkin off the side of the net. He and Hornquist go to work in the corner. Hornquist hit hard on a wall by Bogosian. And Scheifele goes the other way with Wheeler. Scheifele for Wheeler. Wheeler can't shoot it. Turns the cage. Centers. Quick shot by Bogosian, and Fleury makes the save. Centered by Trouba in deep on the play. It's going to be frozen by Marc-Andre Fleury. And Hornquist pushing Trouba away from the goal.
Zach Bogosian joined that rush for the Jets. He was wide open to the right of Fleury. Undetected. They didn't find him. And Wheeler, look at Ehrhoff. Look at that skating ability as he did a 360 to turn around and keep a stick on the ice. Finally, Bogosian was marked by Hornquist as the puck came to his stick.
It often is the defenseman who will make the difference in the 4-on-4. And you saw Trouba right up by the net. You've seen Bortuzzo up there too at the other end. Off the draw is Perreault coming towards the net, but he ends up going in behind the net with a puck. Try to center to Kane, and the Penguins get it, and it's going to be a high stick on the puck. So face off to the left of Marc-Andre Fleury.
And Perreault off that face off, took it right to the cage. And then the high stick on the puck. Over your shoulder, yeah. Yep.
Still a lot of time. 1:38 in the overtime period. Perreault leans in there against Marcel Gottsch, who wins a lot of faceoffs for the Penguins, up near 60%. And he lost that one. Kane with a quick shot wide. Byfuglien over to play it. Sends it back into the corner for Perreault. And up the wall now to Buff. Enstrom with it. Brings it up top to Kane. And a one-timer stopped by Fleury. Boy, doesn't have to take much of a windup to get good velocity on his shots. Now it's Enstrom with it at center.
The toe curve on him, wearing the number 9, like the Golden Jet he looks like with that big curve, Steggy. That's why goalies start wearing masks.
Here comes Perreault to the puck. Kane goes behind the net. Perreault to the backhand, was tripped up. There's going to be a penalty.
Simon Dupre, in Leggett. Kunitz is arguing right now. He can't believe the call. You don't see Kunitz get this riled up. You really don't. And he was right in the face of the official after that call. Says, you're going to make that in the overtime?
Trevor Hansen, the man who made it. Well, that puts the Penguins in a tough spot the rest of the way. 4-on-3 power plays can be very dangerous.
Well, in a game that was so physical, they called 3 penalties, the referees, 2 in the final 5 minutes and 1 here in the overtime. We got a timeout. Jets, as they go to the power play, a 4-on-3, and you don't practice a 4-on-3 very much, and this is an opportunity to make sure you're all on the same page. And you just have to think they're going to have some sort of umbrella up top there with Byfuglien set up for a one-time shot, and you're just going to have to try to get in his lane.
Penguins riding a 5-game winning streak. It's on the line right now. They beat Nashville, New Jersey, Los Angeles, Buffalo, and Minnesota. And now they have their hands full with the Winnipeg Jets power play here with 1:06 to go in the overtime period.
Byfuglien not on the ice here, Staggy. They decide that they're going to go with 4 forwards. Look at this. The Winnipeg Jets have gone with 4 forwards here on this power play. Rarely do you see this. They've loaded up 4 against 3.
Little, Kane, Wheeler, and Ladd. Kane to Wheeler. Wheeler holds it for Kane. Back to Wheeler. Ladd's in front of the net. Kane, left side, Little. Kane. Wheeler. Kane again, shoots it. Sutter was standing right there in the lane, and the shot hit him in the right leg. But it comes right to Wheeler. And across now. Here's Kane, one-timer. Fans on the shot. Paul Martin has it. Kane broke his stick. He had to go get it, and Paul Martin just shot the puck down the ice.
You're going to be happy if you're the Penguins that Byfuglien's not on the ice. Can't believe they didn't put him out there. We'll see.
Here comes Kane, skating the puck into the offensive zone. Pulls up, leaves it there for Wheeler. Traffic in front of Fleury as Wheeler cuts in. Try to center it. Paul Martin with a good stick to break it up. Now Paul Martin has the puck, and he's going to just clear it down the ice. And out of the net comes Pavlik with only 10 seconds to go in the overtime. Two Penguins penalty killers once again getting the job done. Unbelievable. Here comes Little though. Centers. Kane with a shot. Great play by Paul Martin again to read the play right before the horn. Tremendous anticipation by Martin to get over and prevent the shot from getting through. You've been watching the Barrel.com overtime.
And the streak is alive. The penalty killing streak. The sticks of Martin and Scuderi. There's Scuderi there with a stick. Martin previous to that. Good clears by those two, the veterans. Yeoman's work. Martin, Scuderi on the penalty kill for Pittsburgh. And there's Martin again reading the play. A textbook read by Paul Martin. And we go to the shootout. Unbelievable stuff. The veteran pair. Scuderi playing some tremendous hockey right now. And for me, my money I would have put Byfuglien on the ice, and I don't know if he was available or not. And there's the look at the career shootout numbers for Marc-Andre Fleury. He made a save on Perreault. And for Pavlik, he kept his team in the game here late. His save percentage not near at the level of Marc-Andre Fleury's in this shootout situation.
Well, the shootouts are different because there's no more spinoramas in them. I don't know if any of the players involved in tonight's shootout would have done that anyway, but there won't be anybody doing it anymore in the NHL.
No, and you know, as you remember, prior years, you gave the dry scrape up the middle of the ice. Now we've already done that prior to overtime, so we're going right to the shootout.
And Blake Wheeler's the first shooter of the hockey game against Fleury. Scores! Marc-Andre Fleury gave it that kind of that reach with the poke check, and as he
got back up to his stick in position. That's when Wheeler shot the puck. It was a good quick shot from a little higher out after Fleury went with a mock poke check.
He really came with speed too, didn't he? Now Malkin will try his hand against Pavlik. Malkin closing in. He slows down and scores.
Well, that doesn't count as keeping the streak alive for Malkin. That streak ended tonight, his point streak, but that was a precious goal for the Penguin.
So each team has scored on their first shot of this Barrel.com shootout.
Little breaks over the pad. Pavlik deep in the cage, and it's Fleury time.
Here comes Ladd. He comes with speed as well, and Fleury shuts the door on him.
Wow, he really had to squeeze those pillows tight. You could sense it, couldn't you? He wasn't exactly sure. I don't know if the puck got through them, went out the other side or not. But he tried to go 5-hole, and somehow it stayed out.
Everybody standing as they watch Sidney Crosby against Ondrej Pavlik. Closing in. Crosby can't score.
Well,
it did go in. It did go in. Crosby raised his hand late. Everybody reacted as if it was underneath the pad of Pavlik. I thought so too from this angle, but it was a goal.
Yep.
So the Penguins have scored. It took a while for that puck to go over the line, I think.
Let's take a look. There's not a lot of room there, but it goes off his back pad and in. Unbelievable. Just has to go all the way over that goal line. It did. It took a while.
Fleury can win it. Here's Kane now closing in. Kane stopped by Marc-Andre Fleury, and the Penguins get the extra point. Another shootout win for Fleury. And the Pittsburgh Penguins will win the game tonight 4-3 with Malkin and Crosby scoring the goals in the shootout.
They weren't on the score sheet in regular play. They were in the shootout, and Marc-Andre Fleury with a poke check on Kane saves the day. 296 now career wins for the Flower.
And it has to feel pretty good to the Penguins, who really battled in this game. This was a tough game for everybody. Sidney Crosby is our McDonald's player of the game. And there's the Kane opportunity.
And the poke check of the Flower.
Let's go now to Robin Jay.
All right, guys, thanks very much. And, you know, Jay, you take a look at this game. I think Winnipeg really deserved a point. You mentioned it before. They really played a good, hard, physical game. But the Penguins come up now with their 6th consecutive victory.
Yeah, that was a battle. I mean, look, that was the most entertaining game really almost to date. I mean, it had a mix of everything. Pittsburgh shows they can play. It's a good game to have. That's the kind of game that brings the team together, too, on the road as well, because there's a lot going on, guys sticking up for each other. That's a nice game to have. And then you're showing the league, hey, you can handle any way that any team wants to play. We've talked about that before. And especially now, if you're Winnipeg, if you're a Winnipeg team, that's the best team I think we've seen coming from the West, the way they played, and a big difference between what we saw, the passive game against Minnesota and how they played the game. I believe Winnipeg looked at that and said, this isn't the way to go about it. We have a roster built this way, and we're going to go hard. And that's how they attacked the game. So you need a great goaltending, even with it being 3-3. But a big win and good for the team.
Yeah, and to your point, Winnipeg 5-0-2 now in their last 7 games. They've been hot. Penguins a little bit hotter. 6th consecutive victory in the second game of a season-long 5-game road trip for the Penguins. Coming up on Penguins postgame, we will have extended highlights from this game. Dan Potash with the player interview. Plenty of analysis with Jay Caulfield. Plus, we'll look forward to the game coming up on Saturday. All that and more coming up next on Penguins postgame.